Welcome back. What's happening? We are excited to be here. We're excited to be back. I hope you guys had a refreshing week away. I hope you got some learning on and some self-education in the meantime, because this is not it's a journey. It's a lifestyle. So in that week that we was absent, that's a week for you to continue to get it in, or watch other videos, or dig deeper into what you know, so that you can get a better understanding as well as practice. So, like always, we got a fire class this week. What we're going to discuss is going to deal with, at least in the first half, a lot about survival. We're going to go over a couple of things prior to that so we can get some recaps and a couple of things, that little cleanup work that we got to do. But I'm excited for this class. It's going to be fire. It's going to be fire. So let's get right into it. Let's start with our first slide. So this is some recap stuff. If you guys recall, we talked about being efficient and effective. And a lot of times people see them as adversaries. And most of the time we work on either side of those, whether you see somebody who's extremely efficient doing things right, but they ain't getting the right things done. So one of the clarifications I want to discuss is about which one is better, being efficient or being effective. Again, optionality thinking as an entrepreneur says you always look at both. You always need both. You observe both. And the ratio in which you need them will vary upon whichever situation you're in. But the goal is to not leave one for the other. If you pride yourself in being super organized and having everything perfect, and I always come looking, having myself together, and everything's always so neat, clean, and perfect, but the core of your life is messed up, that means you're caught in that perfection loop, and you're caught in that busy loop, and you're caught in that doing things right loop, and you're losing the doing the right things. And it even works on the other side too, is if you get the right things done, but you leave a trail of mess behind you. You leave a trail of mess behind you wherever you go. No, so you either always need somebody cleaning up your messes, or you're leaving messes everywhere you go, or you're damaging relationships because they're all tactical and not relational because you got to get it done in the moment. You're also raggedy too. You're raggedy too. So you need both. You need to learn how to make sure you're getting the right things done. But as you scale and grow, you're always working and learning and trying to improve so you can get it done right too, because efficiency saves you time. Efficiency makes you a better entrepreneur. It gives you longer windows to expand. Does that make sense? So there's no better. There is both. You need both. Now, again, if you're starting out as a new entrepreneur, and there's levels to the shit, as they say. There's levels to it. And a lot of times we confuse, or we'll use being efficient as a distraction because we're scared to take action. That's a rhyme. I should get into this Kendrick Lamar battle then. You feel me? Like a lot of times we'll use efficiency as a distraction to prevent us from taking action, because we know efficiency, I'm good at it. I'm good at being efficient. So what I know, I'll do. I'm comfortable doing this. The uncomfortable stuff is getting out there and getting rejected by customers, or getting out there and putting your product to the world and them not liking it and you feeling a feeling of rejection. You rather do all the little stuff that you're good at. So if you are observable of those patterns, you can stop that and say, you know what? This is me being scary right now. Let me take action and put this out. Let me do this. We talked about this a few years back. Remember the ready, fire, aim concept? Remember ready, fire, aim? Ready, fire, aim. A lot of times The ready, aim, fire folks, between ready and aim, they never get to fire because they're so busy trying to go back and forth to make sure that it's just shot so perfect. By the time the shot gets perfect, your target moved. Okay, now target moved again. Oh, now there's some new tech. Or now it's raining. Now it's dark, so I can't see it. I'm going to go to sleep and come back and try in the morning. In the morning, some other stuff happened. And you'll never get to grow. By the time you get your first shot off, that other entrepreneur that wasn't as smart as you or talented as you or gifted as you got 20 shots off and made micro adjustments along the way, and they're spot on. Here's the last thing on this. Most of us who are caught in that efficient loop or that perfection loop, that ready aim loop, when you think that you actually have a perfect shot or a perfect design or a perfect recipe or a perfect whatever your business is, when you really put it out into the world and mix it with the chemical of the world, it's probably trash. It's probably trash. It's the truth. It's probably trash. I ain't gonna lie to you. It takes revisions, variations, growth. Now, it being trash doesn't mean that some of it won't sell, because some of it can sell. But when you grow, when you improve and you expand, and over time, you'll realize that it's trash. Like, come on, y'all looking at me like I'm lying. Have you ever designed had a logo made, or have you ever made the logo for your business yourself? Have you ever made the website for your business yourself? How about this? Have you ever put an outfit together yourself and you thought it was dope as fuck? And the minute you stepped in public, that's when you realized, damn, I fucked up. And you spent hella time curating that outfit. You bought all the right things and the matching things. And in your mind, it was perfect. Because you have to mix your ideas with objective reality. You have to merge your ideas with the world. And if you stay in your head and you stay in the efficient space and you don't have the practice of merging your ideas with the world, you really don't have an idea of that real chemical mix. You don't. And once you continue to play in that real world, that's when your eye can adjust to the eye of the culture. It's the way entrepreneurs move. To me, old entrepreneurs, the 60-year-olds and plus, the ones who had businesses that thrived and they're in their silver years, them some of the coolest motherfuckers you ever want to meet. Why are they so cool? It's because they've been playing with objective reality for so long and having to generate revenue from objective reality that they seem just so cool to you because they seem so wise and worldly because they had to be. Their business depend on it. Their lives depend on it. So that's so different from that's why you can spot a fake entrepreneur a mile away. Mm-hmm. They just got to talk for 2 minutes. Because their whole conversation quality is whack, and it's in a pie in the sky, and it hasn't been absorbed into reality. I'm doing these big things. Big? What's big? Define big. Big like what? Because seasoned entrepreneurs, they've been smacked by reality so much that those numbers are defined. Those numbers are defined. So be efficient. But most importantly, just as importantly, be effective. Be effective. Swing, take a cut at the ball. Swing your bat at the ball. Strike out. Get out there. Create a percentage. I read this dope negotiation book. This book is cold. So cold I read it 3 times because I want to get it in my brain and I want to have it deep sunk into my subconscious mind so I can just spit it out whenever I want. So, first 2 negotiations from the book. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah, this is dope. 3rd negotiation. Failed. 1 and 2. Sorry. Still up 2. 4th negotiation. Caught another L. Damn, I'm 2 and 2. 5th one. Caught another L. Fuck. 6th one. I got nervous. Damn. 7th one. He gave me this emotional story and he sold it so well that I got lost. Another one. So I keep score. So then I say, see, that's what you get thinking you can read a book 3 times and now you just automatically, you got to practice the shit. You got to practice the shit. You got to get out there and practice it as much as you can. So I'm like, that's not real life. Thinking I can, like a matrix pill, pop it in my mouth and now I'm the best negotiator in the world because I'm dealing with high level negotiations now. So they didn't read that book too. And 5 other ones just like it. So sometimes I'm thinking, ooh, I'm calling the plays while he's manipulating me. Damn, he just primed me right there. That was good. He just did that. Doesn't mean that I can spar with him. I got to get better. So here's the cold part. Because I read it so many times, I can come up here for an hour and teach that class. And everybody be like, that was dope. Don't mean that I know how to use it. Don't mean I'm effective at it. That's the difference. You know karate or you know karate. Don't get your ass whooped. So that leads us to the second one of breaking the perfectionist distortion. Like perfectionism, again, I don't know if we clarified it enough, but being a perfectionist, for all y'all perfectionists out there, I know this is going to hurt. Matter of fact, raise your hand. You're a perfectionist. Raise your hand. Don't cover your eyes. Raise your hand, girl.
She covered her eyes.
She covered her eyes. I see you. That is scientifically a mental disorder, perfectionism. She did the Gloria Evans, damn. It is a mental disorder. It is a mental disorder. It's being a perfectionist so once we get clear that that's what it is, it doesn't mean that your products or your services or what you do is going to now suffer because you don't want to play the perfectionism game. Doesn't mean that. It means when you step into the excellence game, over time, you will find that you've improved way further than what you thought perfectionism could have taken you. Because perfectionism is a box. Excellence has no limits. So you're always looking for ways. It's not like, 10 is perfect, I'm an 8, let's get to 10. Excellence is, you're always asking, what can I do to get better? What can I do to improve? How'd you enjoy your service today? It was excellent. Well, tell me one thing I can do to do better. Well, it just kind of didn't smell. The smell was too strong in here. That's kind of nitpicky. But no. I like the nitpicky. Turn that smell down turn it down a little bit and ask again. Like you're always seeking to improve. That's excellence. Play the excellence game. Perfectionism gives you guilt. And that comes from trauma. It's a trauma response. Let's get out of perfectionism. The best entrepreneurs do not play the perfection game. Think of your biggest and favorite best things, especially in electronics, especially in the digital space, especially in software, especially in tech. That is why back in the day, you download Microsoft Office. I downloaded Microsoft Office in 1998. It is not the same Microsoft Office.
Nope.
You get a revision every year, and they still took your money. They still take your money. And every year, they give you another one. And guess what? They'll fix bugs for you and improve your Microsoft Office all throughout the year. Hey, we got an update for you, But then next year, we got 10. You got to buy that all over again, though. You got to buy it again. How many of us use this iPhone 1? Nobody. Samsung 1, iPhone 1, none. We don't use no ones right now because every company, they're going to take your money. They're going to take your money. But they're constantly upgrading. And the upgrades, the beauty about Ready, Fire, Aim is, I'm going to put this out, even with bugs. But here's the beauty of bugs. People are smarter than a team, collectively. So if that company consists of 300 people, the masses are collectively smarter than that group. So all of the feedback, the inputs and upgrades and debugs that they create, you know where they come from? Not the team, from the customers. The collective customers are the ones that create the upgrades for the next version of that thing. So not only do I have to pay you, but when I complain of shit that don't work, they use that data to make a next version of it. You should be paying me. But that's the beauty of Ready, Fire, Aim. So if you're always on the excellence road, meaning it's never complete, I'm always looking for ways to get better and upgrade my thinking. Education-wise, too, I don't give a shit how much money we got in the bank. I'm always looking for ways to upgrade my thinking. Then I'm never at a space to where I'm at a 10. Life is perfect. It's not. It's not. And here's the thing. The best safeguard for you is excellence. Because the bar always moves. You can get to your ideal weight, body type, everything. You're a 10 out of 10. Guess what? You're gonna hit 35. And then you're going to hit 40. Your metabolism changes, your body changes, everything changes. And now what? You're going to be depressed because you ain't perfect no more? Or you're going to always seek excellence, meaning who is the best that I can be with where I am today? What is the best that I can be with where I am today? How can I improve with where I am today? Perfectionist is you got one step into depression when stuff don't go right. Shit ain't going right, one steps into depression. And it makes it hard to work around you, work with you. Because perfectionism from whose standards? Yours? Your perfection might be another person's trash. It could be. Compared to who? If it's your food, compared to what? What's the perfect recipe compared to who? The perfect level of spice? Well, what if I don't like spicy? What if my spicy levels are so high that that's nothing to me? It's all relative. So seek excellence, and you'll go way further in life than if you sought perfection. Next slide. Any questions on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's low.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. How do you sense perfection? Or maybe what I'm trying to ask is, you mentioned iPhone 1. Nobody's using that anymore. Microsoft, there's updates. And so the world around you is updating all of the time. So right now, I am in a place of, I feel like I very vividly touching where perfectionism, like the edge of that, where it's not effective. Is one of the antidotes to going into that like perfection space, is a step before that, is it constant, is it shorter feedback loops? What is the thing that you're trying to be aware of to sense before you're swinging into that? Because I guess that's what I'm trying to ask.
So to repeat back, you said, what are some of the things that you need to be aware of before you get to realize that you're in a perfectionist state?
Yes.
Okay, good question. Let's take some of that.
Yeah.
So we have 4 perfectionists raise their hands, right? So let's dissect it a little bit. Can we do that? Is that cool? Where the mics at?
He said mice or Mike?
Mike's.
I thought he said mice.
Where the mics at?
So you about to get real up in here. About to get real. Let's go.
Listen, I got.
All right, so let's start with perfectionist number 1, Shakina. So, what would you consider the traits of being a perfectionist that you have that you know that's debilitating, or that you think is working for you?
I'm trying to define it into traits in my head, but I would say procrastination of like releasing things because I want it to be exact.
Mm-hmm. Dope. Dope.
Traits. Disconnection from reality, because I have a hard time with making my perfect ideas fit into the current situation. So my press secretary will take over and be like, in this perfect world, it's going to go like woo, woo, wham. And then it's like bang, bang, bang. It's all wrong.
Love that. Let's go next.
She kind of already said what I was going to say is like, you just like hold on to your ideas until it doesn't work, or it's just like, I don't know, I don't know. So kind of like what she was saying, it's just like you just keep it to yourself, and it's like, I can't get it right, so I might as well not put it out.
Okay, excellent. Next, procrastinate.
Procrastination was going to be my answer.
Say it again.
Procrastination.
Procrastination.
Definitely number 1.
So
And I think there's the tunnel vision that comes with that. And then lack of commitment once I'm overthinking it, because I won't commit to moving it forward sometimes. So I would say those are my 3 traits.
Thank you.
For me, I sum it up as overthinking. So I have tons of conversations in my mind, and it may or may not be the reality, but I'm playing a part as the customer and how they're supposed to receive it. I'm playing a part as the client, the community, and just overthinking, is it right? Is it this? Is it that? How much more? How much less? So overthinking, which leads to procrastination and all the other traits that come from that. But it all starts in my head.
Thank you for those answers. Here's a couple more. Oh, you go ahead.
Risk aversion to the highest degree. Because like, very similar, I think a lot of perfectionists have the similar patterns, is I'll over amplify all the things, think about like kind of going into that monkey mind distortion of like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And then I will identify possible areas that could fail in my inverse. And then I'll be like, I'm not doing that because that's too risky. That's going to cost too much. I'm going to just stay in the safe lane. And where can I cut the least amount of losses? So.
Lovely. Dope. Here's the thing, too. Here's a couple more pieces to bring this all together. One is this. The illusion of what how the world is going to receive your item, your thing. It's an illusion. Once I get this perfect, I'm going to blow up or I'm going to get an A. That is part of the distortion. The second thing is having the mindset that you have to get it right the first time.
Yep.
If subconsciously deep down we think that I can hit this home run on the first swing versus having a growth mindset, which says, this is going to be my iPhone 1. This is iPhone 1. Yeah, it may have bugs, but I need to mix it with the chemical of the culture so that I can get the proper feedback to make the next revision. Mm-hmm. Third is fear, big fear. Big fear of what's going to happen if it gets rejected. I'm going to get laughed at. We expand and magnify the negative that can happen if it doesn't get received. So like those three mentioned, if it's not perfect, I'm not putting it out. Why? Because I'm scared. I'm scared. Just say that then. Like, we scared. And so we've all done it, especially if you've been in high performance situations or you've been brought up in a scholastic system or a work system that rewarded you for getting an A or not missing any on the test or being perfect, and you got virtue signaled your whole life that now you're stuck in that type of programming. So the best way is to practice your way out of that. It's back to the karate. Is you gotta start getting into fights. You gotta do it. Jump out there and do it. Put it out. Put out something that you think is a C. Put out something you think is a B. Put out something you think is just play with the game, because now you have zero fear of repercussions that can come from it.
So what I'm hearing you say is it's what I think an A or B or C is, because. So for example, one of the things that I started to do was like at the end of the day, I'm writing like, how do I feel about today? Like, what's my thoughts about the day? Mm-hmm. Just to see what's happening. But the thing is, I don't always know how I feel about the day, because in this moment right now, I don't know what I think. I don't know what maybe I haven't ask myself what I think an A, a B, a C, or a D in this situation is. So it's like, I'm not sure.
Well, okay, so let's take that point. And Nana's real, he teaches this a lot. And that is, we also have to understand that every aspect of our life gives us our story. Mm-hmm. And we all have stories based on the aspects of our life. Mm-hmm. It's a big dog. Mm-hmm. Remember, your story is only one tiny fraction of the whole puzzle. Mm-hmm. So you might hit the lottery and that story might be right on point, but then the other 99.99% chance that you could be way the hell on off. Mm-hmm. You don't know until you put it out. If we're talking perfectionism is a perfectionism of executing of a thing. Perfectionism is perfection of executing something, a meal, a product, a service, anything. So perfectionism is only perfectionism based on an execution of something. Mm-hmm. So regardless, even if you know how to score, that means you really need to start putting your shit out into the world. Let me try it. What does the world say? The world gave me good feedback, or the world ignored it, or whatever. But none of this moves. None of it moves at all until you play the game. Meaning you got to get out there and start fighting. Like you did all the training. I did all this, but you got to get out because I don't know how I'll respond. I may have all the dope ass moves and I just froze. Bam! Now I woke up. Like, shit, what happened? Well, you froze. So now you're working through that in your mind, and that allows you to cough that shit out. Mm-hmm. There's a book, I think it's called Growth Mindset, Growth versus Perfection Mindset. It's an old book, but it touches on it. When you try excellence, it's a much funner game. It's a much funner game because you detach yourself from the outcome. You detach yourself from the feelings of other people, how they feel, think, act, what they say, and all you're looking for is nuggets of feedback to get better. Boom, boom. Oh, okay. That's the game you want to play.
Mike, is my microphone on? Okay. Remember last week I talked about, or maybe 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. I don't know. Shit, I'm older. But I talked about you have to separate planning from strategy. And the reason you want to separate planning from strategy is because you control planning, but you don't control strategy. Strategy is a dance with the unknown, right? So you don't own strategy. So a lot of times we're talking about strategy as we own it. And I'm going to this big old strategy. You don't own it. You're designing something that you have to engage the outside world to understand if it works. So strategy is something you don't own, you discover, right? Excellence, you own excellence, you don't own perfection. If you was in a desert right now and you did something perfect, how would you know it's perfect? You need another human being to tell you perfection is an interaction between multiple human beings. So even when you have this idea of I'm going into this room and work on perfection, you're now just working with ghosts in your mind and the judges are ghosts in your head when you don't own that conversation. So where excellence is a standard that you own, I want to design something to a certain level of excellence, but in order for it to be judged, it has to go to the public. You know, many artists have wrote excellent songs that wasn't perfect, right? So you got to separate those two as the way you think about it, and you'll be surprised at certain intersections of your strategical planning, your strategical engagement, are you thinking about strategy, and you're trying to produce a perfect outcome, you'll realize perfect is so subjective to the other crowd that what was perfect for this customer is not perfect for that customer because you don't own it. They do.
Exactly. I was watching an interview with will.i.am on Drink Champs. It was a dope-ass interview. And one of the things that he alluded to that's applicable to this class is he asked will.i.am, what's your favorite songs? What's your favorite songs? And he said, the ones that never came out. He's like, why? He's like, what about all the mega hits and internet? He said, because the songs that I like that are perfect for me, that are excellent for me, don't fit the audience. So I make these to keep myself safe and to keep my brain sane and to keep that muscle, that excellent muscle in me strong so that I can go and make these songs that boom, boom, bap that everybody loves. And then I take the money from that and then I go back in my community and I have hundreds of millions of dollars to feed and build in my community versus being the dopest beat maker with the freshest rhymes and the freshest this and I can battle rap everybody and I'm perfect for everybody. That don't make no money sometimes. Fuck that shit. I rather, if I enjoy it, I'll make it for me, and then I'll make the stuff that the world deems an international hit. And I think in business, we get caught too much in that cycle of my version of my perfect has to be the same version of the perfect that's in the audience, and they got to match, and we'll make beautiful music and money together. That shit ain't always true. It's not always true. You might design some stuff for black culture and Indian people love it. And you like, what the fuck? My people don't, no, they think it sucks. They're ignoring it. So what, you going to shut down business after that? Or are you going to continue to cater to where your money's coming from? You'll be surprised how many artists, designers, everybody that happens to. That's why sometimes we'll hear it a third party when, say, an alcohol company makes their alcohol exclusively for the top 1% of white people. And next thing you know, they got all these black folks in the clubs popping them bottles, and now they rapping it in them videos, and they're like, that's not what we wanted at all. But the company just went to $1 billion. That show ain't complaining, right? You have to, as an entrepreneur, you got to know. You got to, the perfectionist in you will fight that tooth and nail. The entrepreneur in you, the business person in you will understand that this audience is the audience that favors what you're doing. So let's cater to them. Charlize?
He lost weight. I'm leaving him alone. He lost weight. Boy, look good.
He been in the gym, ain't? I can
No, yeah, he
tell.
been in the gym. He's serious.
Looking
He lost
yoked.
weight. Yeah. Give him respect.
In this, like in the scenario you're giving, that's kind of explaining when, say, your business takes off in another direction and it monetizes that way. What if it's going in another direction that's kind of left over your intentions, and it's a negative, but it's monetizing that way, but it's like off brand or off your integrity? For instance, I'll just give an example of like Nextdoor. I did a program with Nextdoor, and they explained when they designed Nextdoor, it was not intended to turn into the police blotter, all the Karens, all that. It was intended to be how you find word of mouth information about what to do in your community, how to connect with other people. But is obviously a platform that does the opposite of that. And they're trying to get back on track. And I'm like, is that a good or bad thing? You know, I mean, it's doing something, but it's definitely gone left field from where they said their original intention was when they started it.
Dope. Yes. So let's talk about it. So I'm going to put this on record. If they spend, whoever you are, you built a great platform. If you spend too much energy trying to reel it back to where you think it's supposed to be, you're going to lose your company. That's real shit. Now, here's why. If you lined up 100 successful multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar businesses and asked them who was their initial target market when they first started, I'll say at least 60, 70% is not the demographic that they started with. You know, Lamborghini made tractors. They were a tractor company. Who had a considerable amount of revenue, enough to where he was able to buy Ferraris. And so he had a couple things that in the Ferrari that didn't kind of sit right. He was kind of like a Nana, right? Nana gonna speak his mind. So he met the CEO of Ferrari coming out of a building and going in. He's like, hey, I got like 3 of your cars. I love them, but you should try making these changes. And the CEO of Ferrari said, bro, stick to making tractors. So he's like, all right. Went back to the lab and started making Ferrari race cars on his own. You know, the 3M company, you buy Post-it notes, and now they have all kind of stuff. Spray, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. He started off in a factory trying to make something that an adhesive so strong that it could never be pulled apart. And end up making the thing so weak that it could be pulled apart so easily. So you know what he said? Fuck it, I got something I think I can use for this, and made Post-it notes. There's 1,000 of these stories. 1,000 of these stories of businesses. Perfectionists get caught just like that. And that's how you fuck up your business. Is trying to go back to where it was, trying to go back to what my initial plan was. When what they say, God laughs at your plans. He said it 2 weeks ago. You don't own that shit. We don't own it. Because what we think is in our mind may be a nugget to get us started, but it could be overall can be bullshit. So you have to follow the trail where the market's like, oh, we want that. We love that. We need that. Like dive into it. Step into it. Like there are tons and tons of companies. Most companies start like that. Louis Vuitton, the top brand, the luxury brand that we all love, was a luggage company. They made luggage only. Luggage only. Prada, luggage only. They wasn't thinking about no luxury shit. But when the market comes and says, wow, I would pay so-and-so and so for this. Really? The perfectionist says, no, I'm only going to stick to my... No, it's something about your quality that's distinct, that I think you got something bigger. Courtsmith started, people, you need to raise your prices. No, I'm trying to make it affordable for the regular guy. You need to raise your prices. Don't nobody give a shit about that. They don't think like that. The regular guy is trying to spend more money. You see what I'm saying? You got to play. Like, that's one of the biggest mistakes perfectionists make, is we get caught in that web of, I got to do it my way. You're over controlling your business, and business is super challenging to build something.
Dope. There's a question online.
Yeah. Y'all got me sweating up here.
How would you suggest going about defining what your iPhone 1, defining what your iPhone 1 is, like what your minimum viable product, service, or experience? How would you suggest going about defining what your iPhone 1 is?
Well, in business, there's 3 or 4 different types of lanes that you can go in when you have a product. So you're talking minimal viable product. That's fancy speak for what differentiates my product in this marketplace. Why am I here? Am I to be another basic cog in this wheel, or what does my product, or what can my product do that makes me an alternative to the game, that gives the game another option, or the best option, or a cleaner option? What differentiator in my business can I put into what I'm doing that makes customers say, I want to try that? That's your first thing. That's the most important thing, is why am I in this game? Because you got to fill a void in the game. That's where that passion shit sometimes can derail you, because your passion has to drive you to find out the differentiators in what you're doing. So am I first to market? Am I second? Am I third? Am I 400th to this market? Mm-hmm. If I am, what differentiates me? Why would a person not just walk over me and go to the next business? You have to find out all those things in order to figure out your place in the world. You can't just say, well, I like t-shirts. I want to make t-shirts. Good luck. Now, that's why it's so key that you don't get caught in perfection. And if you're really in this entrepreneur game, you're in it for the long game. You're not in it for a quick lick or the short game or right now, or you get your ego stroked. I'm in this game for the long game. If I'm starting 510 Media day one, this is going to be the best photography company ever in the world. And I'm going to continue to grow and be the best photographer I could. Wait, I'm noticing that there's some things going on from a behavioral science perspective. And when we take on these big clients, those are bigger challenges than just taking a picture. Let me look into that. Now, his company was doing well. What makes you say, well, we're more a behavioral science firm now? Because the market that you're serving, the feedback loop that you're getting from the market that you're serving is so strong, you're testing out little pieces in that to say, well, maybe we got something. Perfectionism says, let's put together a big old spreadsheet, PowerPoint, change our whole model, and then throw it out there into the industry. And we're going to make big bucks. And if it don't go right, fuck it, let's go back to taking pictures. Excellence says, let's test this. Let's go here. Let's try one. Let's talk to some customers. Let's talk to 100 customers. Let's get feedback on what their pain points are. You're finding voids in the market. Entrepreneurs are finding voids in the market. That's what you do. And a void is something, a severe desire, want, or need that's strong. And you may not know what they are at the beginning. You may think you're feeling a void over here, but you stumbled upon a void over here that they're like, give me more of that. You're like, nope, I'm staying over here. That's the Netflix Blockbuster issue. Blockbuster said they already had the blueprint to do everything Netflix is doing. They already had the blueprint set. And there was just one small little area over here that they wasn't kind of tripping about. And Netflix says, ooh, we going to do this. We're going to do all of it. Our whole business model is going to be this. And the Blockbuster execs was like, that's not our business. We built our business on putting these yellow stores in every city. That's how you die. I'm not saying, I don't mean to say to wish death on no company at all. I'm saying that it's going to be super hard to continue to scale your business when you have a thriving model over here that needs more, and you want to go back to your original vision. Your original vision is iPhone 1. It's just keeping that shit real.
So a follow-up question online is, so you're saying to follow market demands, make the money, and then build what you love? ?
Where's this love shit? Where's this love shit?
Right?
Like, I'm being funny. No, I'm being funny. I'll say this. There definitely has to be an element to like of love in what you do in order for you to play that long game, right? You gotta love the core of what you're doing, to play the long game. So let me fix that part. But once you're really entrepreneuring, you ain't really doing a lot of the stuff you love. I'm learning how to scale right now. I'm a dope design. I used to airbrush on people's clothes. You know what I'm saying? I used to tag walls and airbrush people's clothes and draw pictures and cartoons with the Playboy hat with the Playboy figure with the hat backwards and the Fila sweatsuit, and like that's my world. That's what I love, is drawing pictures. I don't do none of that no more. I don't do any of it. But overall I love what I do. So it's when you put your business out into the world, how the chemical mix that happens when you put into the world and how they respond. For the long game, you got to always be looking for clues on how to tap into your biggest market. So it's not like you have to, I don't want to set you up and say the love of what you do is right around that corner once you make the money. No, it's your business model may continue to change and grow, and you may be way over here one day. But you have a business that's thriving and growing, and now you have something that you can continue to build and pass on to your children. And if it's way away from what you love, now you can scale your business to a point to where now you can be like will.i.am. And you got time to go write the raps you want to write that make you feel good while you're making international hits. You see what I'm saying? Like that, we got to wrap our entrepreneurial heads around that model. If not, we getting caught in the emotional connection of our businesses. So there's some people who, like I love I love being an entrepreneur. I love what I do. I love the outcome of what I do. But do I love firing people and having to write people up and HR stuff and have to find which sexual harassment course that I need everybody to video to watch and like all this little stuff and dealing with it? Like, no, of course not. I'd rather go draw some pictures. However, if I'm playing this entrepreneurship game and the scaling game, I got to learn it. And the love comes overall when you see the impact in the course of the business of what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Court Smith started off as I had a patent created. I started off just like I'm gonna keep that shit 100. I had a prior business, similar industry, that hit a big enough hype cycle that people knew who I was in the industry, because our products was in all the big box stores: JC's, JCPenney's, Macy's, Mervyn's, Foot Locker, Foot Action. So I had a business that I built from scratch that went to those stores. So then I took that fall, that crash, right, that I told y'all about. So when I was ready to get back in the industry, I walked back in the industry like this. Hey y'all, I'm back. Took a little vacation, but I'm back. So give me my shit. This is my idea. So I got the best basketball shoe design concept ever. I already wrote the patents for it. I already spent the money to get the patents. I got a patent lawyer, and it's X, Y, and Z, and it's going to take over the industry. And y'all going to give me the money that I need because you seen what I did with my first company with nothing. Play that cricket sound, Scott. Can you play that cricket sound? That's what I heard. Can you play it one more time? That's what the fuck I heard. Investors, people around me, everybody was like, we don't give a shit. We don't care. My perfectionism mind. So guess what? I chased that rabbit for a year. I wasted a whole year running around because that perfect concept in my head, I needed to manifest it out there. Wait, time out. Y'all don't get it. Let me say it again. My name is Courtney Smith. I built this brand from Oakland out of nothing. Zero. Okay, maybe they in the backyard didn't hear me. So I'm going from investor to investor to investor to investor for a full year. And they like, we don't give a fuck. We don't know you. That brand you thought you had blew up, I never heard of it. So, and even if you did do it, can you do it again? So after a year, I said, fuck it. Because I'm like, I started off with one t-shirt. I started off making one t-shirt at a time and slinging out my trunk. I've graduated. I don't have to do that shit no more. I was in Macy's. So my ego said, no, you too big for that. So after that year, you know what I did? Fuck it. Where that t-shirt at? Where that one t-shirt at? Design one t-shirt. Give me 30, see if I can get off 30. Internet says, Instagram at the time, 2013, hey y'all, I got 30 shirts. Anybody want them? Meet me at 24 Hour Fitness Bayfair. Guess what? Folks start DMing me, I'll meet you. I got off 30 shirts at 24 Hour Fitness Bayfair. That was my first sale, first time back in the game. Shirts cost me $15. I got $600 now. I made another shirt. Hey, what about this one? Don't smoke layups with Smokey the Bear picture in the middle. I probably sold about $150,000 of that shirt in 9 years being in business. Because it won't die. Kids still love it. Meet me at Bayfair again. and my ego thrown away, I'm back slinging shirts out my trunk. Way off of my vision. Way off of my vision. Then we get an opportunity to sling those shirts inside of a basketball facility. I had no clue. I knew nothing about that model, nothing. That got tossed to me, and I took the idea. While I'm in there, a coach says, I love the quality of these shirts. It would be dope if you did my team uniforms. Do you do team uniforms? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Have I did a team uniform before? No, motherfucker, no, never. Not for myself. So yeah, all right, cool, let's do it. Design this team uniform, or I fucked it up. But it ended up being a $10, $15, $20, $30,000 deal. I didn't know he was a tastemaker. I didn't know he was the trendsetter in AAU. So when he did it, all his little minions and copiers and jealous people followed him, copied him, because they didn't want him to have a leg up in the game. So now my little $300 hustle turned into a $140,000 a year hustle, which in the last 10 years, we sold tens of millions of dollars. Was that my original business? No. Am I still in a realm of what I do? Yes. Can I put my shoe out now? Yes. It's coming. But if I would have fought to be perfect, I wouldn't have gotten there. So y'all got to stop glamorizing these entrepreneur stories. They don't show up like that. They're not like that. It's not like that. It's all over the fucking place. And if you dig deep into businesses and how they got started and really learn the truth of them, man, you'll be laughing at your own perfectionism. You'll be laughing. You'll be cracking up of like, I'm so silly. I'm so silly. So understand, at the end of the day, guess what? Now we have the capacity. I got 22 employees now. So we got the capacity now to build out those things that we still think may be viable in the market. But now it's not crushing. It's not detrimental. It's let me try it. I threw away that perfectionism shit years ago. It's not easy, so don't get me wrong, it ain't easy. But it starts with no more overthinking. Put your iPhone 1 out. Oh shit, that was dumb. iPhone 2, or here's an update. iPhone 3. That's how the game go. Have you watched the Uber documentary movie? Uber was not designed for how it's designed now. It was for elites. It was for only executive level folks. It wasn't for the masses yet. Uber was designed for something completely different than what it is now. So, yeah. Let's move on. Let's get to some of this Survivor. So this is going to be obviously 2 parts, because we're going to get through some of this, and we're going to work through the rest of it next week. But we did this class maybe a couple of years back, but I want to revisit this because I think it's time. And that's, the question is, how many grew up with real scarce or empty refrigerators? How many grew up in violent environments where you didn't know, I mean, the majority, right? How many grew up where money was tight? You may have lived in a decent neighborhood, but money was tight, super tight. So if you asked mom and dad or mom for something, it was a hell to the gnaw, right? How many grew up in an environment where your parents or mom or both parents had these cliche statements about money that really just kind of fucked your head up? We are all survivors. We all survivors with survival mode mentalities. And we've inherited that from our environment. So survivor mode is, I got to get mines. If I don't get mines, it don't happen. And so most of us, it looks like all of us have survived, right? But we had to survive under these particular rules to get us through extreme, tough situations in life. Let's go next slide. Oh, look at that. Hey. Danielle Raw, she knew. So the name of the game is to outwit, outplay, and outlast, which means when you're in survival mode, there's a certain level of politics that you have to play in different realms of life. We're in groups like ours and cultures like ours, we're one of the few groups that have to play life and death politics from different realms, right? You got a politic with the street dudes as a kid. You got a politic with the police. You got a politics with adults. You got a politic with your own peers. You have to play these chess games with multiple entities for your survival. And so a lot of those rules that you set for yourself to get you to survive hurts you as an entrepreneur. Straight up. It hurts you as an entrepreneur. How many didn't like to show a lot of material flash or doing well because you didn't want no eyes on you? You don't want people hating on you, talking shit to you, come looking for you, come looking to take it. Because it's a dog eat dog. I got to get mine, you got to get yours. So if you accumulate anything, you tucking it somewhere. You're burying it. You have a question? Oh, you was raising your hand? Mm-hmm. Like, understand, we won the survivor game, but the rules that we gain from winning the survival game, we will absolutely lose the entrepreneur game. Here's a clue. You don't even have to raise your hand, but just think about it. If you ever been in a situation as an adult where you are generating a certain amount of money and you was just neck and neck with your bills, just barely survived. You thought, damn, if I just made more money, it'd be good. And lo and behold, you got a raise or you came into some more revenue and your income went up and now your bills is here. Has your bills ever just miraculously met the level of your new money? How did that happen? It's magic. Like my mom used to say, she was Jehovah's Witness. My mom used to say, that's demonized. Anything unexplainable is demonized. Michael Jordan is demonized. But understand, that's survival. You unconsciously are playing the survival game and don't even know it. You sabotaging that extra money and don't even realize it. It's self-sabotage. And why would you self-sabotage yourself and more money? Because you're playing a survival game and don't even realize it subconsciously. Some of it's even demonized. Your car may break down. You might have a giant bill that just popped up out of because when you are playing that survival game, all your resources is coming together because you think it's a life and death situation for you. So we got to break, the goal is to break that cycle of survival mode mentality so you can get into thriving mentality, growing mentality, scaling mentality. And until you do that, it's almost nothing you can do. You can make more money, but that does you no good if you're still in survival. I know multi-millionaires that at the end of the month still got zero. Still got zero. The same way when you used to stay at your mama's house and she had zero. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. them sayings. Money don't grow on trees. You were taught how to survive, and it was for your good. So we can't demonize survivor mode, but you have to understand that at this stage, it's no longer necessary for the level of game that you want to play now. Thank you, survivor mode. Whew, thank you. Thank you. But now it's time to grow. Now it's time to expand. Now it's time to thrive, and I need a different formula. Remember the saying, nutrients plus stress equals growth? Mm-hmm. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Remember that? Mm-hmm. What's the formula for survival? Stress plus distraction equals survival. Stress, you get a little distraction, back to stress. Stress, you get a distraction. Maybe you smoke some weed, maybe you do this, maybe you drink, maybe you do that to give yourself a little breather, back to stress. So you don't die. You don't die. You don't die. You just live. That's why all of those things impact how you move. So this game is for when you're stranded on an island. Outwit, outplay, outlast. Is if you're stranded on an island, or you're stuck in the hood, or you're in a situation where it's do or die, and now you're back against the wall, and you got to play that game. As entrepreneurs, that means you have the desire to create outside of yourself, more than just you. You're playing a bigger game now. Another thing is, how many people got kids? Anybody got kids? So those of you that have children, if you ever been in survival mode and you can only take care of just yourself in survival mode because you're always net, how the hell did you raise children? How did it happen? How did it happen? That was a miracle too, wasn't it? Somehow with your income, and now you have more expenses in your life because you have a whole ass kid or two. Somehow you was able to make it every month. So there's something different then. What's going on? That means your brain and your conscious and subconscious have way more control than you think, because when you had to do something outside of yourself, you made it happen. You're playing the survivor game. So now, not only do I need to survive, we need to survive now. And I'm going to figure out a way to make it happen. So survival mode puts you at, I lived. I just lived. Wait, what? Wait, yo, hey, we ain't here to just live. We ain't here to just live. We here to put an imprint in this game. As Kendrick Lamar would say, put our fangs in this game. Next slide. We can move to the next slide too, because that's the basic premise. All right, Shabisha, let's rock out.
Okay. The purpose of survival is to survive. To be a survivor, it takes resilience, grit, and the ability to adapt to any circumstance. In survival mode, you have to focus on self and think about today, which enables transactional relationships. This will form a governing belief that life is not promised, so you must get yours.
Hey, when I was a kid, my goal was to make it to my 21st birthday. I just want to be 21. That's my goal. And I had a son, just in case. Just in case. Subconscious, that was a subconscious thing. I had a son at 21. Because survival mode, goes beyond your surface belief. It goes to your governing beliefs, your deeps below the surface, your deep beliefs. And when you see so much shit pop off around you, you don't have the formula yet. You haven't built an algorithm on how do I stay away? What do I do? Because you see the innocence, the non. So much happens around you in survival mode. And you're trying to form your algorithm. You can't get out. So at this moment is, I need to focus on me, myself. I was such a nerd when I was young. Such a nerd. Kindergarten, first, second, third grade, the biggest nerd. I loved reading and math, and I was a student and everything. And my family used to like, man, this dude is not gonna make it in Oakland. My dad used to like, dude, you got to get tougher. He would have my brothers fight me because I didn't want to hurt people. I didn't want to fight. And they would have sit downs with me like, look, it's crazy out here in Oakland. You got to get it together. You got to survive. You got to fight. And when you get indoctrinated like that, you can remove the nature of a kid or a person and insert a new program into that person. That's not even what they're accustomed to. So by junior high, I thought I was hard. Thought I was hard because survival mode had already been instinctively embedded into me. So, because now I'm not thinking about repercussions or relationships. It's everything's transactional. Everything's transactional. So with that mentality, shit. Any store I walked in, I was walking out with something. They got insurance. I ain't tripping off them. Any bike I saw without a lock on it, shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You got caught slipping. I got caught slipping before, so I'm just paying that shit forward. The mentality is a complete different. Man, anything not glued to the ground was coming with me. As a teenager. Straight up. And I'll justify it. I don't give a fuck. What? And that's why people are like, man, these youngsters crazy out here, man. No, time out. They in survival mode. They got it. It's fucked up for them right now. So it doesn't make it right, but you have to at least have enough empathy to understand where it's coming from. You got to understand where it's coming from. So survival mode right now is at an all-time high. Next slide.
Unhealed survival wounds create a victim mentality. Unhealed survival wounds create takers.
So if you ever wonder why sometimes you revert to playing the victim, it is a reactionary stimulus response move from being in survival mode your whole life. I've been around survivors my whole life. People who don't want no more problems. I want my life to be easy. I don't want no problems in my life. It comes from I've had so much drama in my life, so much negativity in my life. I don't want one more thing. So anytime anything hits you that's negative, that's against you, or even disagreeing with your idea, I'm gonna play the victim. Even if it's disagreeing with your idea, you will still get triggered like the victim from the hood. You'll still get triggered like the shootout that happened in your neighborhood. You'll still get that same feeling of vulnerability and hopelessness and curling down on the floor until it goes away. You'll get that same feeling when somebody tells you that your idea is trash. It's linked, it's connected. So that's why we say Unhealed survival wounds create a victim mentality. You got to heal it. You got to heal it. And the other thing is, you also can turn into a taker. Give it to me. Mine. Think about nobody. Don't care about nobody. I'm in a rush. I'm weaving through traffic. I smash past you. Get out my way. Cut in front of you in line. Take this. Do that to that. Like, I don't give a fuck. And I may have evolved, and now I go to church, and I have children, and I have this, and I have a completely, on the surface, normal life, but I move with this taker energy. Dangerous. Dangerous. Now you might not understand why you ain't got no resources or nobody fucks with you. Where my friends at? Where my friends at? You ain't got none. Because you move with the taker energy and don't even realize it. I can't have a conversation with you without you trying to manipulate me. You're trying to find an angle on me to get me to give you something. You stuck in survival mode, and you are a taker and don't even realize it. Entrepreneurs, we can't move like that. That's why it's important to work on that survival mode mentality. Next slide. So we're going to talk about this next week. Get deep into it. Before that, any questions on the definition of survival mode or correlations with survival mode before we end this? Ace.
What's the difference or even similarities between survival mode and like hustler mentality?
Ooh, great question. Great question. So an ambitious survivor is a hustler. Ambitious survivor is a hustler. And so, again, being a hustler has some positivity to it. But if you still connecting your hustlerism to survival mode, then you won't know when to turn it off. When it's time to scale and build a business. So out the trunk at $300 a pop, that's hustler. That's hustler. 600 is hustler. But at a certain point, it's unproductive for me to do that shit. And me celebrating the fact that I'm a hustler, and I end up losing. So another quick story, survival mode. At 9, 10 years old, we in a hood. We in a hood. So my mom didn't have resources like that. So she ended up getting a job, but we didn't have a car, nothing. So I wanted to take some burden off of my mom. So that's when my hustler gene kicked in. I'm going to start sell whatever I could sell. Sell some candy, sell some cards. So I would figure out whatever I can do. I'd draw pictures of Transformers and sell them for $0.25 at school. You can come to court, and I had like 3 things as a kid on me. Some candy here, and I was always selling shit. So I was known as the hustler. Over time, that started to be the detriment of me. Because hustlers got to do shit themselves. Hustler is a muscle that you built over years. So when you hire an employee and they don't hustle as hard as you feel like you got a problem. This is bullshit. I can't find good people around me. No, you built that from being a survivor. So it's almost a extra. You can bench 315 10 times. You know how many people, honestly, you know how
preaching
many,
right now.
You know how many people can bench 225 on the planet? Less than 5% of the world. No, it's 1%. 1% of the world can bench 225. So to bench 315, that's .00 something. So it'd be crazy for me to be like, man, y'all hella weak. I've been doing this shit. I've been in the gym since I was 18. If I can't do that, something wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? So that's a muscle. Like hustle muscle is built over years and is built through being afraid. You ain't had shit in your refrigerator. You didn't have nothing to eat. I said the stupidest thing to my mom. I said, hey, don't worry about my lunch money and my school clothes. I'm good. I got it. You know how many days I was hungry at school? So that hustle money came, that hustle mentality forced me to find ways to generate revenue. That's not nothing that can get passed down to somebody over a conversation. So to have that expectation on a new hire or somebody you just hired is terrible.
First off, stop telling my business. Okay, but on a second note, so like with the thing that you just said about you volunteering to like man up and like have your lunch money, I definitely have hustle mentality coming from New York, so birds of a feather. But then the newer, elevated version of me says, yeah, but how much of that was ego? Because if you would have went back and talked to your mom, she'd have figured it out. And I'm not saying like that was the choice, but I just like, as of lately, I've been trying to like invert my decision-making process so I can change my stories so that I can then change my actions. And when I see that kind of thing, I'm like, okay, that's the past, so you can't change it. But if I came across this again in the future and I was on the struggle bus and I just decided to sit on that damn bus even though I had options, that now we can start to play with, instead of punishing myself, like, what are my other options?
Oh, absolutely. Because what that was is you're prematurely playing the hero. I'm prematurely playing the hero. Who told me? Like, so you're prematurely playing the hero in your life. And that also is a detriment. It's a muscle that you can build, but over time, if you don't have the strength and the consciousness or the healing power to let it go, when you scale, it's going to hurt you. So next week, we're going to talk more. Oh, you got one more question. Go ahead. We're going to talk more about some survival mode, and then we're going to talk about some tools.
I wanted to see if you can kind of expand on this thought of starting a business out of a hustle, and to kind of put it into context. Like I've always connected with my business now in IT as something that kind of started out of that survival mode as a hustle. Mm-hmm. It's like I wanted to make some money here, some shit I'm good at, and I find myself always like fighting to connect with this business because it's just not there as like something I felt like I wanted to do, but something that I did. You know, I had this story that this is what I did because, you know, pay the bills, raise my son, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Where like can you kind of speak on that point of just not really connecting with a particular business that it's making money, but I'm just not connected with it. Like it was born out of that survival instinct, out of that hustle mode. Mm.
So what's your end goal with it?
That's where it's so hard for me to connect to it, because I don't have that vision with this. I have a vision with other things, but with this one, I'm just like, it's there, it's going, you know, it's surviving.
Question, does that business provide you the living for you and your family? That's a yes?
Yes.
It's fucking business. It's just, it provides a living for me and my family, but I think it's context. Like if you step back, because a lot of times it can feel like a marriage, right? When you're in a marriage and it's the money's good or the relationship's good at first, and then it just gets mundane and it gets old. If you don't ever step back and be like, wait, what's good about this? What's great about this? Then it can easily go from appreciation to expectation to entitlement. And now it's like a burden. So like hats off to you as a businessman who built a business that you can work full time, that's not only taking care of you, but taking care of your family, your son. That's incredible, because you're in the 1% as a black man. So I say that business is dope as fuck. It's dope as hell. Now, so whether or not the feelings you feel from it are like, I'm not in love with this. I think there's a few options that you have. One is I can continue to scale the business and put someone in my position where I don't have to work as much, and I can go bust some raps with Court. Do something that I love. You know what I'm saying? Because now I've built it like there's appreciation that has to happen for it so it doesn't get mundane. We do that. It just happens. We're normal. We're humans. But like, it's the separation, it's the backing away from it that says, oh shit, this is taking care of me. Thank you. And what I would like to do is continue to scale it so that I don't have to be there as much and sacrifice a little, maybe pay somebody half my salary or a quarter of my salary to start inching me out, or grow the business more so I can put up somebody to run it for me. But it's a great business, because you have to think about what's your exit strategy. What's the second order effects of it? And if you don't address it now, then it'll go from being to start being resenting. You'll start resenting it. And you'll be resenting something that's beautiful, that's serving you. It may not be the most exciting stuff, but it's serving you, and it gives you grace to grow. I gotta go, y'all.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
All right, like I said last week, I'm not the donation dude. I'm about to work on really recording that video. Tennille, let's really work on pushing that, because I suck at talk about donations. It's when you're a for-profit and try to do nonprofit, I'm not sure if the two, my brain is like, it's not functioning. But if you're watching this video on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down low. Please donate, support our efforts to kind of expand and push this knowledge into a broader market. Check it. Before we get started, I want to share a cool story. First of all, let me say this real quick. You guys know I stopped eating sugar, was it 3 or 4 months ago? This shit's amazing. I'm gonna just tell y'all right now, it's amazing. If you guys decide to stop eating sugar, just make sure you subsidize it with creating fun foods you enjoy that doesn't have sugar and has fiber in it. It makes the sugar journey so much better. But it's one of those things where it's one of the things you gotta be careful of, especially when you're trying to lose weight, is stop talking about it like it's a destination. In America, most people get to the destination, and as soon as they get there, they absolutely go right back to where they started, because they talk about it as a destination. If you find yourself in a body shape that you don't prefer, and you wish to change it through training and eating, look at it as adopting a new lifestyle. You have to adopt a new lifestyle. You gotta go let go of those old stories. I was with an old cat at the gym, and he said, man, I'm having foot problems. I said, well, you're probably having foot problems. You probably need to start working on your legs and your calves. And once I showed him how to do the work on the calves, his brain just shut down like, that's not part of my story. And I sat back and I said, wow, this cat just literally, you're home suffering, talk about going to the doctor to get pills, shots, and everything else, because at the end of the day, you're trying to protect the story, right? So, peep this. I want to share this conversation I had in my house that I'm not going to get the details of what Shakina did, but it was a cool conversation. She stopped by the house, and I just happened to be I happened to walk in the room and I said, you know what's crazy, y'all? So first of all, do you realize most of you guys have never really engaged reality? Most of you guys are engaged in stories. You're not engaged in reality. Most human beings never engage or have very low interaction with reality. Car coming at you, got the way, that's reality. But what am I doing with my life, who I am, where I come from, what my name means, what my race means, those are just stories. I believe in justice, freedom. I'm from Oakland, stories. None of that stuff is true. It's stories that they're human construct. Remember the thing Core talked about, subjective reality versus actual reality? So most human beings were glasses that you can call those lens stories. So we're looking through life through these stories, right? And I said, you know what's interesting? This is what I said. I said, you know what's so interesting? Is that when we're running up against a problem in our life, it's usually an indication we just need to change our story. But most of us just can't change our story. If you're feeling a lot of stress in your life or friction in your business, friction in your personal life, or friction on something you're working on, or you feel like you're always having the same problem, it's because you won't change your story. That's it. That shit sounds so simple, but it's so complex. Most of us struggle not with the problems in life. Most of us are not engaged in reality. I'm trying to work on my career. That's a story. Change it. Change the story. Change what you put your energy into every day, because wherever you put your attention to, you manifest. But if you keep telling yourself a bad story and you never examine and challenge your story, and then you're frustrated with life, it ain't life you're frustrated with. It's your own story. You know, Corey talked about perfectionism, and I'm going to get past this quickly, but I'm dealing with a knucklehead son. Kids, quite often, will sit in your house. There's not a human being with the reach of my voice and within reach of any ancestral voice that was ever perfect. But kids sit in the house and they watch your imperfections, but they know that you're always policing them, trying to raise them. So they see you as a monitor of their behavior, right? So then a child will say to you one day, how dare you tell me what to do when you have an imperfection, right? Then the child begins to then use you as a hypocrite as they start to reject all your values and say, I'm going to embrace my peer values, when ultimately that's what you're driven to do as human beings. But what you realize is that that's a bad story. Because if I sat in anybody's house every day, I'm going to find your imperfections. If you sit in my house, you'll find my imperfections. Because that's who we are as human beings. That's what makes us amazing. That's what makes us colorful. It's our imperfections. There's no such thing as a perfect human being. Now, you're perfect within context, but you're not. To somebody outside judgment, there's always imperfection, inconsistencies, or things that don't make sense, because that's just how you work as a human being. So what's insane is that a lot of times you're mad at the world because it's imperfect, when it was a whole bunch of imperfect people on earth is going to create an imperfect world. And yet you're mad at the world. What's wrong with that? It's your story. Like literally the things you struggle with the most is your story. If you find yourself stressed, depressed, frustrated, angry, whatever, it's your story. Now, mind you, let me keep it real. It could be your diet. Y'all said, what the fuck? Did he just go from story to diet? Yeah, because diet does impact depression. Diet does alter your thoughts. It could be sleep. Sleep creates distortions. But ultimately, your greatest frustration is your story. I got to build this for my kids. Do your kids give a shit? Right? I got to go to college to be successful. Can you prove the opposite? Then it's just a story. I gotta make a lot of money to make myself to be special in the community. That's just a story. I gotta do it this way. It's just a story. If I don't do it this way, I won't be happy. Another story? Goddamn. But it's not fair. Fairness is a story. It's not justice. Justice is a story. But as black people, you know it's another story, right? What does that do for you is when you realize it's a story, you realize how much you can always reframe and pivot, and you have more options. If you're in survival mode, you only see binary. You see what's in front of you. It's just either this or that. It's A, B. It's always A, B. But when you learn to become a strategist, you can see A through Z. Those are all options, and you add some numbers in there. Sometimes it's infinite, right? So ultimately, a lot of your limitations of your thinking is because you don't know that you can change your story. And so, you know, when I first told Shakira that, she's like, but what about this? What about that? Can you change your story right away? Man, once it clicked, her brain clicked. She became like the road runner and just took off. You know, by the time I looked to talk to her, she was in Nevada with thoughts, right? It's like, pew, like her brain was like, oh shit, I could change this, I could change. Damn it, it's me. I have control of my company. She thought at a certain point she was being victimized by certain things. Once she realized she could just change the story and position herself as in charge of those things, she realized, oh shit, my empowerment is my choice? Yeah, it is. So a lot of you guys are suffering from something right now. Are you frustrated? Are you mad at the world? Are you mad at other people in this world? Just your story. Watch life changes really quick when you change your fucking story. Ready to do this, Shabisha? Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna do an exercise first because I want to open up your brain because I want to work on some more strategy work. I want you guys to learn how to think in strategy because I can promise you our culture is anti-strategy on building. We're very strategical when it comes to work. You work with some black folks, we get some shit done. Especially black women. You guys are the queen of making everybody come together and get some shit done. But we're horrible when it comes to building stuff. And so I want to continue to attack strategy and hit some areas that I want to hit a couple of different paradoxes. So you can literally say, I didn't think that made any sense. You mean that's actually highly effective? Yes. Next slide. So next slide, strategy session. Okay. All right, let's see. How many people got here? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4. Okay. All right, so go in threes. And the last group 4, one group 4, so go in threes. And here's a question I want you guys to do. It's a challenge. We've got 5 minutes, so you guys got to move fast and rapid because we're not going to be eating up all my time with long-windedness. You understand me, y'all? You know what I'm saying? No more long-windedness. That's a black word for stop talking so goddamn much. So we're going to do this exercise. You have 2 championship teams. It's a Super Bowl. What are all the things that could destroy that particular team's ability, that one team ability to win the championship? I want you to start listing all the things, all the causations that can prevent a single football team from winning a championship. And here's the thing. Assume it. I don't need it. You don't need to be accurate. I just want to see how far your list is going to get. So get into your teams. I'm going to give you a 5-minute time. Those of you online, hey, turn on some music. You know, listen to that Kendrick Lamar song. I don't know what to tell you. But for 5 minutes, or matter of fact, go online. Yeah, go online. Those of you online, just start making a list. Shabisha, take your list in. So yeah. Shabisha represents the online team. Online team, let's start writing into the chat team. Write down a list. I want to see your list. So we're going to build a list real quick. All the different reasons you get a particular team can lose a championship, starting now. 2, 1. Time. Some of y'all, you can tell y'all cheated at school. Some of y'all be like, time, okay. Jasadi, you did not get the sandwich for this, Jasadi. Jasadi lost weight, y'all, so we give him some respect. That boy, he called me, dropped 5 pounds, and was it 10 pounds. There you go. Come on, man. Let's give it up for him. 10 pounds. Give it up for him. Respect, baby. Respect. I will cease from all jokes for the next 10 minutes. Next 10 minutes, no jokes about Jasadi. I can't call you fat boy no more. Damn. Okay. Anyway, you could have been a cool rapper though. But anyway, point is this. Okay. So, first of all, I want to hear each group. How many did you come up with? Huh? 13. How many you guys come up with? Okay. 30. Okay. How many you guys come up with? 30? Okay. How much you guys come up with? 3? 23. How many you come up with? She said, Donna, back up off me. Online, how many do they have, roughly?
Oh, boy. About 30.
30. Okay,
30,
can we
40.
go through so Shabisha, can you take notes? If you hear something, we're gonna start with the first list. And then whatever you don't hear, let's just add to that list.
No, I'm going to type it so it'll be on the computer.
Okay, will it be on screen?
Oh, I'm sharing. You want this?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you wanted the online.
Can you share one of these screens? Okay. Just 1 second. Want folks to be able to see this list. Okay, let's fire up that list. Okay. Any kind of minimal document? Man, this is when we go in front of Josh can spell or if he just tell jokes. Okay. Cars, Josh, not care, man. It feels plural, Donna. Okay, let's start running off just the items in your list, and just because we want to move quickly through this process.
He's taking notes or I'm taking notes?
Huh?
He's taking notes or I'm
You want to take? You
got
say
it.
Josh can take them. Yeah,
Okay,
Josh can
cool.
take 'em. Yeah.
Cool.
Shazadi, could you drop the exposure down on his camera so they online can see it?
Okay, so anyway, let's start for this group first, and then whatever you don't hear, add to the list. Don't just say the same things over. We're gonna try to move through the room effectively. Go ahead.
Division amongst team members.
Mm-hmm.
Goal alignment not being clear with the vision.
Okay, I was saying goal alignment. Just say goal alignment. Okay, goal alignment, vision. So just type in division. Oh, okay. Okay. Woo. Man, that College of Jerusalem did not let me finish. Oh yeah. Hey, this is gonna be. Hey, Josh, if anytime I got you, baby. All right. Just whatever. We know what you meant.
You ain't gotta correct it. It's all right. We understand.
Yeah. We know what it means. Goal alignment, division. What else?
It's getting worse.
Hey, look here. Look.
You might want Shabisha to type this.
Yeah, she definitely.
Okay, go ahead. Goal alignment. Go ahead.
Lack of strategy mapping for the playbook.
So strategy, goal alignment. So type of strategy. Playbook. Okay, we gonna take this whole class. This is one. I need AI. Well, there you go. There you go. Playbook. There you go. Keep going. Yeah,
I could type if you want.
It's okay. It's all good.
Emotional and personal issues.
Emotional and personal issues. Okay.
Injuries. Play executions.
Okay, I'm saying play executions. Okay.
Weather. Coaching. Not clear leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Finances.
Finances.
Entitlement. No ego checks. All-star mentality. Rigging. Strategy mapping over planning.
Okay, strategy mapping. Just over, okay. Ooh, okay, no, there you go. Okay, we got the AI flow down. Pronouns, what? Okay, all right.
People at home, I ain't got shit to do with Josh. Go ahead. What else is there?
Poor feedback loops.
Poor feedback loops.
Losing the ability to pivot.
Losing the ability to pivot.
And performance anxiety on a macro level.
Performance anxiety. Okay, next list. Whatever you didn't see up there, just add. Go ahead.
Dang, barely left nothing. No, I'm just playing. We put lack of practice.
Lack of practice.
Bad refs.
Bad rest.
Lack of skills.
Lack of skills.
Physical issues.
Physical issues.
Poor health practices.
Poor health practices.
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep.
Drugs.
Drugs.
Partying.
Partying.
The opposite sex.
Opposite sex. Same sex. Go ahead.
Weather.
He said more sex, not enough sex.
That was Chamara. We put weather.
Oh, we already did weather.
Oh, we did. Oh, that was on there. Okay, I didn't see that. Okay. Let's see. Hydration.
Hydration.
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep.
Oh, we did already did that? Okay,
Okay.
sorry. Inexperience.
Okay, experience.
And she already did fear, so. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, next group. Anything you see up there that wasn't added? Let's go for it.
All the players dying.
All the play.
You can't win if you players is dead.
you can't win if you ain't conscious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The players woke up too late, probably because they died. Football's being banned by the government.
Okay, government issues, political politics.
A bombing.
A bombing, yeah.
Yeah,
Bombing.
like if they bomb the stadium.
Yeah.
An earthquake
Earthquake.
that destroys the stadium. Aliens attacking the stadium.
What in the world?
Just Prozac for Josh. For Zach. For Jasadi. Yeah.
Wait, pause.
That's a you need Prozac, bro. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying pause on an alien attacking the stadium. Pause.
Yeah.
Football ceasing to exist. Like if it just doesn't exist. Oh yeah, I'm getting metaphysical today.
Okay.
Issues with the coach. I don't know if that was already.
Team conflict, leadership conflict.
Marital dispute.
Marital dispute. That's right.
Yeah, issues at home, nervousness. Yeah, because the other one's been said.
Okay. All right.
Hold on, we got another 30. Then we got not effectively exploiting the other team's weaknesses, not leveraging scouting reports, not studying films,
Okay.
not adapting to the game plan accordingly.
Stop.
You want me to just email it to you?
Yeah, yeah. Matter of fact, send him an email because you look like you've been some working on this one.
We had a strategy over here.
Yeah, I see like you sound like this. We got a coach up in here, Yapasua. What's up, coach?
Well, we had
and then you want you guys jump in and give us one. Give us some. Whatever's not you don't hear. You haven't heard.
Bad coaching.
Bad coaching.
No ticket sales.
Low ticket sales.
Acts of God.
What is it?
Acts of God.
Acts of dog?
God.
Acts of God. Oh yeah, acts of God. That's right. Acts of God.
A war.
War.
Boycotts.
Boycotts.
Power outage.
Power outage.
Terrorist act.
Terrorist act. Okay, you guys sat too close together. I see. yeah.
Scandals.
Scandals.
Team getting canceled.
Team being canceled.
NFL gets canceled.
Who it is got canceled?
NFL gets canceled.
Oh, okay.
And mental issues.
And mental issues. Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Shabisha?
Let's see. You can't foul out of football.
Huh?
You can't foul out of football, right?
No. It's okay. It's okay. Hey. I bet she cute though. Fouled out. Ooh, girl, you right. That's why she never knew she was wrong. She too fine to roll, she wrong. Girl, you right. Shoot, they be fouling too much in football.
I watch football for different reasons. Okay. Is lack of team cohesion up there?
Lack of team cohesion. Okay.
We talked about coaching. We talked about communication. Sickness.
Sickness. The team can get sick.
Falls into sickness.
Certain players can get sick, right?
Too angry.
Too angry.
That was like a bonus in football. Turnovers.
Turnovers.
Mindset. No strategy.
No, we already said that one.
Maybe they just weren't as good or as skilled as the other team.
Okay. Yeah.
Not mentally ready for the stress. That kind of falls.
Not ready for the stress, right?
Injury of key players.
Okay. I think we said injuries already. You just trying to make it sound
We said
fancy.
injuries.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
car, vehicle, something you drive in. Those three for me.
White. NFL fix the game.
We already said that one.
The goal of the individual was greater than the goal of the team.
Yeah, we already said that. Yeah. So let me add a couple then. There. Wrong uniform shoes. Clothing. The new clothing that came in didn't handle sweat well. Malfunctioning of equipment. The football actually doesn't have enough air in it. The community you came from. The relationship, the argument you had with a relation in a date last night. I want you to see how when you talk about a single loss to a game, somebody do me a favor, count that list real quick. This is where we're gonna stop here because this list can keep going for the rest of this class.
Control A, you say? Yep.
Hit the number at the top. With
On the menu bar, yeah.
To go to the top, right there. There you go. Hit numbers. Can I go to the bottom? Okay, so there's 66 things. Now, just pay attention to this real quick. If you're a coach right now, those 66 things minimum, and trust me, this can keep going. Minimum, you have to think about to win a championship. I want your brain to just to really wrap around that. If you try to win a championship of a football game, you're running a football team, and you have to think about managing the organization because there's a lot more. We could double this list, especially if you brought somebody in here who was like a GM, a coach, a team owner, and you realize, oh my God, do you understand that if you're at a barbershop and somebody goes, you know what's wrong with the city of Oakland? You understand how horrible that analysis is? By simplifying causation, it makes you stupid. Some of you can't build a business because even when you build a business, you tunnel on, I'm going to get the dopest playbook. My team going to be hella tight. You look going to leave out the other 65 issues? We want the dopest strategy. You going to leave out the other 63 issues? Or 64 issues? Oh, we're going to get that mindset together. So you going to leave out the other 63 issues? I want you guys to understand how, when I said last week, get serious, because when you build something, it starts to multiply really fast. I'm sure the first football team didn't really care about some of these things. But as it starts to grow and starts to expand, I want you guys to understand the depth of ownership of what you own. And what causes us harm is that, so this is the intro to systems thinking. Rarely does a problem happen in isolation in society. Rarely does a problem happen in your business in isolation. Rarely does a problem happen in your family in isolation. Even though you could draw one line of causation, look for more. Look for more. Otherwise, when you solve problems, the reason you're not really effective in solving a lot of problems in your life is because you're trying to draw one or two causations when it may have multiple interconnections. You guys get where I'm going? So go to the next slide. Go back to the slides real quick. Well, when you get a chance, make it back to the next slide. Next slide. Thank you, Josh. Give Josh a hand for back there for working with us. Yeah, he can't spell, so that was a great school in Jerusalem. Shout out to Jerusalem Elementary for raising my partner. Hey, man, I'm just saying, man, you came out of that. I mean, C's mean something these days. So, here, go ahead. There you go. Next one. So, in strategy, I want you guys to think about, here's the basis. And I'm going to slowly grow you in this space, not today. I'm just give you a little bit at a time. In the way you know you have a system, these three things must always exist. It must have elements, right? Which are the players, the coaches, the cheerleading team, the ownership, the management team, right? The customers, right? It must have connections, right? How are these people going to interact to make this sport work? And then it must have a purpose. Without a purpose, guess what you don't have? Football. If you change the purpose of football, it's no longer football. Matter of fact, go next slide. So with that being said, how do you change, now I'm going to show you this real quick. How do you change basketball to soccer? Huh? That's it right there. Change the rules. That's it. That's the answer. The man who's supposed because the rules is the principles of the interaction, right? So if you change the rules, it's no longer football. It's soccer. You tell people, we're going to kick the ball from now on. If it's not, it's no longer basketball, it's soccer. So you guys shouldn't have basketball, we're going to kick the ball. And now all of a sudden, the game has just changed. This is important because I want you to understand this, because a lot of times when you guys are looking at, which we'll get into later on, incentives and why are things the way they are, when you're looking at big systems, a lot of times you're trying to identify individuals, or you're trying to look at it from a micro perspective. But if you step further back, if you look at the rule system, it tells you more about what's happening around you. It'll show you, you'll see opportunities, you'll see trends, you'll see where society's going, you'll know how to invest your money better. This is at the core basis. You look at politics in a city. If you don't see, if you have crime is not because cats are this, or people are not doing this, or if people just do that, right? That's a comfortable way of talking, right? But if they assign you the responsibility of solving the problem, you have to take time and see the interconnection. You have to see go back to the slide. You got to see the elements. Who are the elements of crime? What are their connections? And what is the function of the purpose? And once you see that, you can see all type of smart points to create leverage, to create change. But if you look at a problem from just the way we do in barbershops, you know why black people do this? And then we give a single answer. There's no such thing as a single answer to a problem. A problem has multiple points. And why is that important? Because to your brain, you will become victimized and want to solve a problem the man with a hammer, everything's a nail. So because that's your way of thinking about life, you try to solve everything in life by that same methodology. To the man with a hammer, just hit it with a hammer. What's wrong with this? Hit it with a hammer. The garden not working? Hit it with a hammer, right? What you have to say is, okay, that hammer issue might be one of the causations, but create a checklist in your analysis and never allow your emotions to have a destination in your choices. So you might say, yeah, this sounds right. I mean, we all agree upon it. It feels like this is the right answer. Okay, table that causation. Now look for the other causations. Because once you see the interconnection, you can sometimes just pull the string and everything falls apart. You can change the rules, and all of a sudden you're not doing the same problem anymore. But you will never see this, and it's going to be very counterintuitive. It's not going to be something you can feel. It's not going to feel it's not rational. Remember this concept: when a group of human beings come together, we create a life force, and that life force has a separate intelligence from the individuals within the group. And that life force is more intelligent than the sum of the group. So it's like, so once you build a system, it develops its own way of thinking. And if you can't see how that system is working, you're playing the one-on-one game and you're living in a world full of systems and you wonder why you're not in the game. You're measuring it wrong. You're thinking, all I need to do is be fast, catch the football, be cool with my moves, and I understand football, and I should be able to own a team because I was one of the best players in the game. You can't. You don't see the system. You don't see the interconnections. And you don't see, like, so a lot of times you're like, oh, that's stupid, this rule the NFL has. No, it's not. They're looking at it from a system. You're looking at it from one-on-one fairness. Once you understand the system, all this shit makes sense. You're like, oh, I see why they did this. It doesn't feel right. Trust me, as you rise up and build a company, I promise you, your lower employees will always think that upper management is stupid. It's the most common conversation you hear in corporations. Oh, they so stupid. Oh, they shit what they need to do. Because you see the one-on-one type of scenario. You don't realize it's a separate life force that comes from the system's birth, and that system has so many interconnectivities that are connected to it that if they understand the connections, they also have a different purpose than you have. You have a purpose of getting some money. They have a purpose of longevity. They see all kind of different things that's impacting that, and they see the different elements, meaning that if I have 3 people I'm managing, it's one thing. Tell 100 people a rule and watch a certain percentage of them gamify it and make it work against you. Mm-hmm. So even when you push a rule out there to the public, it works cool if it's just 2 or 3 of us because I can see you, see me. We hold each other accountable. I feel, I don't want to betray my boy. Give that same rule to 100 people. And all of a sudden you realize, oh, shit, it turned into something else. Like social justice, if it was in its original format, in a small group, might have worked. But once the public gets to it, now it becomes virtual tools. It becomes gamified. All these other things start to happen. So when you build systems, you gotta realize you're building another life force. It's almost like the way a man births life force is by bringing a group of human beings together. What's that old Christian, whether 2 or 3 gathered in my name? Right? That's actually systemically correct. When a group of people come together, we produce another energy, and that energy is superior to us as individuals. That's why, okay, I can be looking at a problem going, oh, I can't solve this problem. This problem's crazy. It's just, I don't know what to do. I bring together 3 people, I can produce a thinking team that will be superior to my thoughts, and everybody in that group is not equally intelligent. Somebody in that group could be highly ignorant, somebody could be highly intelligent, somebody could be average, but when we come together, we produce a level of intelligence that the individual in that group can't trump. Is that some powerful shit? This is something that's counterintuitive. This is a new paradox of thought. But groups have more. This is why that's why I hate this new movement that black people would listen to. Oh, me as an individual. I'm an individual. I'm an individual. You're a sucker. This game is about the group. And if you don't master this group game, you can't compete with other groups who understand the group game. Like, a team can solve problems you would never be able to keep up with. There's no such thing as a super Steve Jobs. There's a team that Steve Jobs gets the credit for in hindsight, but in foresight, it's a team. So basic elements, this is the basic rule of systems. It must have elements. So a bunch of sand, that's not a system, right? But it must have elements, it must have interconnections, and it must have a function or a purpose. If it's people, it's usually purpose. If it's a system, like machinery is usually function. Your body is a system. Intelligent system. So just remember that rule. It's a basic. I'm going to give you little pieces at a time so you can digest it. If I give it to you all together, your brain will still be struggling with this one. Then I'll land the next idea. You're like, okay, you lost me, right? But just know there's so much power. Systems. A lot of conspiracies you think where there's masterminds working on things. It's not. It's the result of the system. It's the result of many. When you bring a group of people together, certain things will come together because when a group comes together, they produce an intelligence that seems like a mastermind is controlling it, but it's the power of things coming together. That's why corporations will smoke at individuals trying to do the same thing. Every once in a while, you hear the small guy, the David who whooped Goliath, but that doesn't happen often. Not against corporations or groups. Now, a small group can be the bigger group. Because the big group gets snagged by biases and distortions, but it's still going to be a group going against a group. You may even have a single win where you're successful one time, but sustained success requires a strong enough group. And a group doesn't have to be, a lot of times we get a group where everybody has equal intelligence, they become a sound chamber. Echo chamber, where all they do is just, they stuck in this one way of thinking and it makes them weak. The reason you want your group to be diverse is so that the one way of thinking doesn't become so dominant that it makes you weak over time. So if you have somebody who's a Southern country boy, somebody who's a doctor, another person is a scientist, another person is just straight entrepreneur, and they come together, they will solve more problems than if you brought all scientists together.
Can I throw a defensive thinking thing at you and you respond to that based on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I hear you, and if you're in a situation where the Southern country person and the person who's from Oakland and maybe the person who is from somewhere in LA, they don't know these elements, they don't sit here. But ultimately, you go further if you go together. You can't compete individually. It's a loss. How do you influence people who don't have the understanding of these concepts to get them to move in that direction when they're very individual thinking?
They don't. So first of all, it's not a come by. It's not a. I'm not talking about come by. Yeah, we all going to stick together.
Exactly.
Just fuck all that. It doesn't work. I've been hearing that shit my whole life. Oh, we just all get together as black folks. We're not. Cardi B gonna have a problem struggling with Maya Angelou. They're gonna have arguments all day long. Okay. so whatever.
Right.
That's just hey. I'm gonna watch it because it's gonna be worth TV, but it's not gonna make any sense. Okay. So I just want y'all to play with that. Maya Angelou and Cardi B arguing. Woo! One is articulate and one sounds great. It's just gonna be crazy. So okay. But here's the thing. A lot of times when you've been part of ideation groups and you didn't design it. If I'm the designer, I can welcome you into the group. And if you have value, when you started with IT Media, we did a lot of ideations.
Sure.
But the design brought you in and allowed us to aggregate your contribution and make you feel comfortable even when your ideas were far right or left from my ideas. Mm-hmm. Right? So even like if you don't know how to sit with people who are diverse in thoughts and welcome their diversity and their ways of thinking, then you can't aggregate the value of what I'm talking about, right? The aggregation comes from being able to say, hey, all ideas in this room right now are valuable. And then after that, from those ideas, we produce a hypothesis that we wish to test. It must always be testable. And through the test, because strategy is, remember, we don't control strategy. So we tested a hypothesis that we built through our planning process, through our ideation process. We take these hypotheses, we test them, and then we let the public tell us our best strategy. We don't say, yo, this town the smartest. Because sometimes, like we said, like Cord just highlighted earlier, the dumbest idea wins. Mm-hmm. So you build hypotheses and you test them. But the richness, the way you get a fucking lizard to sell insurance that's strong ideation. There's no in the world, lizard selling insurance is not rational. We're gonna get a lizard, he gonna get on television, and he gonna sell insurance. Huh? Anybody? Why y'all right leaving? Why y'all tripping? This is great. I'm telling y'all, this is gonna be great. Shit's great. It's amazing. That's what ideation does. The real scientific guys gonna say it's stupid. The artistic people will be like, that's brilliant. And all of a sudden, when they test it, the market goes, we love it. And guess what? Something is born. Now you don't turn to the intelligent guys and go, see, y'all stupid. You go, okay, well, this one, it worked. But hey, thanks everybody for the contribution, because ideation has to say, I can't shrink you because your number is going to come around. There's going to be a corner. So one of the power of the groups is that within a group, there's always these corners you have to be able to look around, right? In that group, there's somebody within a group can see around the corner where the other ones can't see around the corner. And when that person can see around the corner, you don't rank them greater or better. It's just be the corner they can see around at the time. Because there's going to be another corner that the rational person can see around that corner, right? But you want to build a group where they're excited about sharing ideas. And they realize that they're contributing, good or bad, they're enhancing the possibilities. I know for black culture, that's a hard, uncomfortable space. Because if we think we're arguing, we need to be fighting. And that's why arguing is so necessary, because when we're arguing, we're not arguing like I'm mad at you. We're going, well, I think this is a better idea. Well, why? Like we're going to create a little friction around these ideas and then produce sometimes even better ideas. See how the life force is being born? But if the argument creates separation, you're rubbing the sticks together to create fire, and it never happens. Yeah, I don't play with that. I'm not slipping up in here. Next slide. I'm gonna move. I'm one more strategy thing I want to share with you guys. Next slide. Next slide. Pause. So this could be fun, but I'm not going there. Okay. Stay with me, because this is actually the opposite of what Court's teaching. This is why I hate Court. Because somehow we don't talk about what we're going to teach, and it's always in the same fucking lane. So I think that we're pulling from you guys, and it just keeps us in the same fucking lane. So, okay. Listen to me. This is so important. So y'all know I'm trying to extend, I want to extend 5T Media to Sacramento near legislation, because it's just throwing money out there. So I told Tennille, hey, just book me a hotel. I'm about to go to Sacramento, meet with some companies, and I closed a contract while I was out there, and talked to another company about partnering. These are big legislation companies. So legislation companies do like 3 to 5 million, 10 million, 20 million per contract. So I want to tap that area, and I wanted to test my chops to see how strong they were when I got to Sacramento. So I got to Sacramento. First thing is first, if you do business in Sacramento, they're old school. Bring your business cards. I don't carry business cards in the Bay Area. Nobody carries. I ain't been to any place where when somebody give me a business card, I'll be like, oh, what is this? Take it back, right? Flee from me. But spray. Oh, so I'm in Sacramento, and I was hanging out with this sister, and this sister is so fucking dope. Pause that story and I'm come back. Give it a read. This is talking about famous comedian short. Kevin Hart.
Oh.
No, it's good. It's good. Stay with me. So he's on Vlad TV, a Jewish shot. Shout out to my Jewish folks. He's on Vlad TV, and they were talking about Taraji getting these horrible roles. And they were saying, this other actor said, the guy who always flexes muscles, Terry Crews. Terry Crews said, I wasn't going to do it because I could do it, but he's like, if I did it, it's been inappropriate. And I promise you, there's people in my family that was told jokes all the way to the next year if I did that on camera. So anyway, and then Shadi was like, load this gun up. Yeah, okay, all right. If you flex that chest on camera, okay. So what happened was, hopefully that girl who didn't know anything about football, she's like, oh, go ahead, Nana. But anyway, so Terry Crews like, yo, when you get those contracts, you shouldn't sign them. But that's not how the industry works. Stay with me. And Vlad was like, yeah, I don't know why she's signing, why she's complaining. And this is what Gilbert Arenas said. He said, Kat said that Kevin Hart must be a plant or whatever the fuck they call him, right? And he said the reason Kevin Hart received all those movies, that he was in all those movies, he only took $1 million for all those movies. He positioned himself by taking all those movies, so when he finally got his own show on Netflix, he owned it and he got a big ass bag. And he said in Hollywood, you take low end stories because what happens is like they'll come out and say, okay, I'm gonna make a poor number. Say we got $10 million, just so for the sake of this conversation. I got $2 million. I got $4 million for Brad Pitt, $2 million for Denzel, and then I'm going to pay every other artist between $100,000 and less. So they say, hey, you want Court? You want to do this? I got $100,000. So we just got an offer, and Court says, cool, because he's thinking, hey, it's going to be just a little quick scene. I jump in there, and then while you're there, you kind of kill it off, and then you sign the contract, you walk away, and the movie blows up, and you actually get the award. Everybody says, man, the way Mouse was in Devil in the Blue Dress or Red Dress, I like Mouse the most, right? Now Mouse is mad going, but I only got $100,000 and Brad Pitt but that's not how it works. But as you start to position yourself in the industry, all of a sudden, when it's your turn to get a bag, you get a really big bag. But when you do comparisons at the bottom to somebody over here, it creates a distortion. Well, if he got it and he was famous, why shouldn't I get it if I was famous? Because you're not well positioned yet. Go back to Sacramento. So I'm with Melanie. And so I'm sitting in this meeting, and these are heavy hitters. This is a foundation that's funded by a billionaire. And we closed the contract. And as we're talking to them, the dude, I'm challenging some of his ideas. And I noticed him and Melanie start talking about all the people they knew. You know how Melanie knew so many people? She volunteered to be on so many boards. She volunteered on so many different volunteer. You hear the word? Okay, for the black folks who from the hood, she did shit for free, bro.
Y'all got a budget?
Yeah. She did shit for free. She didn't say, "Do you have a budget? How much I'm gonna get paid?" She positioned herself so well to the point that now Melanie can drop a seed on the ground and a tree will grow. Because she's done volunteer so much, and she's on set shoulder by shoulder with so many millionaires, billionaires, top politicians. She knows them by first name. When she sells a product, she has an instant 1,000 sales before she even gets on social media because she did all of her positioning work. Go back to that scarcity thing, the taking thing. When you're moving and you're only trying to get paid, and if it doesn't benefit you or what am I going to get out of it, that's your kind of concept, you are destroying your positioning. Especially when you're young, you're supposed to be like, hey, let me show up to this. Let me help you out with this. Let me get some volunteer here. How can I show up here? How can I sit on your board? How can I, are y'all going to be there on Saturday? Can I just show up and help y'all out? You don't realize, yeah, you may not get paid enough. Somebody may say, hey, man, how much did you get paid for that shit? You're like, I didn't get paid nothing. But then when it comes for your turn to step up, you position yourself to not start at 0, you're actually starting at 50 or 100 or 2 or 3, 400. Josh doesn't realize he positioned himself into his income. Josh makes over 5 G's a month, 6 G's a month. Easily. I'm not going to even get close to that. I'm sure it's way more, but over 6 G's a month. Josh came straight from quit his job to being able to make money. You know why? Ask him where he got most of his money from. He positioned himself with 510 Media. And all of a sudden, you got this relationship through us, this relationship through us, this relationship. At some point, Josh, you want this one? Josh, you want that one? But ask him how much volunteer work he put in. Ask how much stuff he did for free. Ask how many nights he was up late at night doing shit. Most of y'all be like, I ain't gonna be painting, sweeping on floors, mopping on floors for free. Josh was like, I do it. Cola's our lead photographer. Cola had his bar downtown Oakland. Cola's got bags. Cola's now running he's the head of our photo department. Cola, when he spent 1 year broke. When I would get to work, he would have a lunch bag, a little bag for a sandwich. He was sitting there at 7 o'clock in the morning waiting on me to pull up in my truck. What we got to do today, Chief? For free for a whole year. You guys, I can't tell you how many people say, Donna, put me on. Like I owe you something. I don't owe you a motherfucking thing. I don't know who you are, and you're expensive. Because training costs money, right? You want me to just put you on and say, hey, I'm going to put you on, and you ain't did shit? You don't know nothing? You know how expensive that is? When you say, I do anything, what you just said is, hey, be my new parent and carry me. In the language of East Oakland Chinese, fuck no. Like, fuck no. Like, I'm not doing that. That's not what I do. So, I mean, I want you guys to understand, like, the way you position yourself in the cities, in the state, in the markets, in politics, in business, in any sector that you wish to get in, you're going to have to volunteer some time. I want you to mentor me. I don't like you. Why should of course, if you're a single man, you might get a little bit mentoring. I mean, if I'm a single man, you're a young girl, I might give you some mentoring. But that's the worst type of mentoring you ever want. If you want to position yourself to actually have your own empowerment, you got to learn how to move a different way. This whole thing, if I don't get paid, that survivor mode is fucking you over. Where are you putting your time? What boards are you sitting on? Where are you investing time where you can say, I'm positioning myself to be in this space? Literally, you showing up, going back to Court's example, what can you give me? What can you give me? Hey, I really don't get it. I love what you're doing. I think you're amazing. What can you give me? That's how crazy it sounds. Now I realized that we positioned ourselves in the industry. Like when I first started, I was taking pictures and helping people. I used to run around a group of guys, what can I do to help out? And even I started at Linen Life Art Gallery. Shout out to Daryl, one of my loved ones. He's still alive, doing good too, in Washington. And I used to be at Linen Life just working, cleaning up and doing all kind of stuff, helping out. And at nighttime, I'm like, yo, can I just do some photo stuff here? He's like, yeah, cool. And he's just stopped me when I started bringing all these women. He's like, yo, I got a daughter, bro. You bringing too many women up in here. It doesn't feel right, right? And at that point, I broke off and did my own thing. But even the people I was able to pull to spend money with me, it's people that I invested in one way or another. When you move through society as a giver and you're showing up and you're also thinking about positioning. So another thing too is like, so I meet with Melanie because she wants me to work with her some strategy, and we're meeting at Check London Square. All right. So the head of housing authority walks in. She's like, "Oh, I know her. Hey, come over here, Nana. You see all these political campaigns that you've seen, all these health campaigns. His company pretty much runs everything. You guys must connect. She has that power. But if she hadn't did all her positioning work, they would said hi, and kept it moving. Y'all don't see the power you will have when you're positioning. A lot of you guys want to go out there and play the pick me game. Pick me. No, partner. Position yourself where, in the end, they can't see nobody besides you. Go ahead, microphone. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hey,
okay.
hey.
So what's the difference between positioning yourself and being transactional? Because, like, what if you're doing something to also, like, you know, in the back of your mind, like, I'm going to help out and, like, I want to eventually learn the ways of this person or this company. Like, what's the difference? Like,
transactional, everything you do, you're looking for what can I get in return. Positioning is you're looking to enjoy the experience.
Okay.
Right. You're literally like you're moving in a certain area. So for example, let's say you decide I want to be top notch in Oakland politics. And you start volunteering certain places and showing up certain places, supporting certain places, and they always know like, yo, you always contributing some kind of way. As human beings, reciprocity kicks in. And I'd be like, yo, you know what? Here's a chance. And the first chance may be like a low end chance. But it's about how do you position yourself in a market where eventually when the big bag does show up, everybody's like, yo, go talk to Nana. That is everything. So just this whole thing of I don't move unless I get paid, you're gonna not get paid. If you're a small company and somebody that has a big company and you have a service, position yourself. What can I do to help you out? Can I show up twice a month and help out in this kind of way? All of a sudden, you get a chance to know who they are. They get a chance to know who you are. They get a chance to vouch for you. They get a chance to see the depth of your skills. They get a chance to give you feedback and show you how to actually show up for what they need, not what. Because you may come to the market and your skills is really low level and you really designed for a low level B2C, and they can train you how to design your company to show up for B2B. But you won't even know that because you won't put that volunteer time in. And they have zero incentive to go find you. The big dogs is clogging that space. So positioning is putting yourself in a position to always be in a situation where you can raise your brand value by your interactions with people. And it means giving away some free time. If everything is about getting paid, you're not in the right game. All those people I was talking to that had cash, were moving numbers, they literally can say tomorrow, I'm going to do this. And they have instant startup cash. You on the other end, I'm doing this. People are like, well, who are you? I don't know about that. Whatever. Go back to court. If court, that time he was, let's just say for some whatever reason, he was court today, and his business failed, and he started like volunteering all these key places, and he's working with all these key people that are heavy hitters in the industry. When they see he's ready to go, they'd be like, yo, I think court is ready. Let's go. Let's give him. But he's helping. He's just helping. But they'll see, yo, you designed that? Oh, you got the show coming up? And things to start to manifest itself. But you got to give to receive. If you're always taking, you're not going to understand this game. Because in the end, not only are you taking in every opportunity, but you even you move like so much like a taker. You're asking people to show up to you and give to you, even though you're just a pure taker. But when you're a giver, people give back to you aggressively.
It's funny you're talking about this positioning because that's basically in Oakland, that is your capital. But since I started the town experience, it was free. It was voluntary. It was something I thought would just be a cool idea. And through doing the volunteer work, people started coming to me saying, how come you're not getting paid? How can we get you paid? And it ended up starting the business because other people were pushing me into that value. So it does work.
Yeah, it helps. Like a lot of times, like you said, Kevin Hart. Think about how many things he did for free or did low. So during COVID, a lot of people who blew up during COVID. You see all the smart positioning they did. They did all those free shows. Whether it was DJ D Nice, or whether it was the comedians. They did all those shows for free, and when COVID was over, position changed. All the artists, all the comedians who was just like, I can rest on my laurels. What happened to them? You almost forgot they exist, right? So it's like if Cat Williams would have spent all that time doing free acts during COVID, and it was just aggressive. Like Country Wayne is not the funniest dude in the world. Even if his money stops sometimes, which it's not gonna stop no time, it's gonna take a long time for his money to slow down, because he's like this. So even if it don't come down the hill, that's a lot of money, right? And the way he positions himself around his values, how he shows a good person that he is, he can go straight from that to TV and never miss a beat, right? But Country Wayne did all those shows with a cell phone, a damn cell phone. He got to the point he was making $300,000 a month by himself. He had 1 month where he did $30 million. Positioning. Now, all the free shit he had to do to get there, right? Marquez, who does all the reviews for products, right? He worked for free for hella years. Now Marquez is one of the most powerful reviewers in technology game. Mm-hmm. Right? What are you willing to do for free to get there? Even to this day, there's certain times I tell the team, yo, knock that one out for free. Take care of that one for free. I did it on purpose because I'm positioning. I'm always positioning. Always positioning. You never know where your next dollar is going. So as you position yourself as being a caring, loving, high quality, excellent-based company, that's what human beings need to say, oh, I feel good giving money to you. But if you're known to be, get yours, you produce excellence, but you just, hey, you call me, I'm a roll. I'm going to get paid. You might be cutting off your own feet. You got to move differently. You got to move totally different. So positioning, think about everything you're doing, who you collaborate. And that could be negative positioning. The negative association is negative positioning. That's why I don't roll with certain circles.
Let me get in there, Scott. I think the other thing, what makes positioning so important, and I think sometimes it can be the Bay's Achilles heel. I don't know about other places, but our ego too much. Our ego's too high to position ourselves. So I'm not gonna bust a rap in front of no rapper. So what? Who is he? Like, I'm not gonna come up and try to do something for free in front of somebody, or wait outside for an hour for somebody that I know could be influential in what I'm doing. My ego too big for that. So a lot of times we block our progress because our ego's too much to position ourselves. So there's times where we like, how come he made it and I'm better than him? Positioning. He probably positioned himself better. He probably did the research and found out what players to do free stuff for and make free anything for, to where he can form a bond and relationship. That's a game that we all gotta have to get better at. And you can trace a lot of successful entrepreneurs to, at some point, them doing something for free.
Always. So play that I gotta get mine game, and you're almost creating your own glass ceiling. Next slide.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
This amazing. Amazing.
Fire.
Because the last couple of weeks I've been having this like David Banner Hulk moment, and several times a week, right? But it's really been around. I have a lot of individualism, and this year, like, really being aware of where that is showing up, and pushing against that has been like my number one priority. What I've realized is that the positioning thing, it was almost like oddly enough, positioning, and then doors would open, and then my survival mode would kick in, and
let me ask something real quick. That's okay. You know how you can destroy the benefits of your positioning? Let's say, so look at positioning as a bank full of opportunities. You know how you can fuck it up? Defensive thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You're so busy fighting with people and arguing with people and saying they don't, and position yourself, because now you gain the rights, but you don't even call on these opportunities because you see that you feel like you're under attack, or people don't. You come with all these stories of all these people working against you, and you can't even say, "Hey, Charlize, can I?" You don't position yourself well where she can't wait to give you the opportunity, but you think, Charlize, last time I seen her, she didn't look at me the right way, and I feel like she doesn't appreciate me. And last time we was in a meeting together, she didn't acknowledge the stuff I did and supported her. See all this defensive stuff I'm positioning? So now I don't really like her no more. So I don't really talk to her anymore. So I don't reach out to her around the holidays and none of that stuff. So now the person who I've invested in to get there, because she did something that irritated me, I built a wall of defense, and now I'm chopping off my own opportunities because I'm defensive.
And I said to you, none of this defensive thinking thing has been blowing my mind, because when you gave us the prompt of like, just see where it shows up this week, I was like, gee whiz. So I don't want to say anything else other than to say like this is really actually exciting, because personally for me, because I can see the board.
Yeah.
And that's just like, I feel like I need to rewatch this section over again, but I can see the board. And so this part of this conversation tonight has been great, because when Court was going over survival mode, it's like, it's there, but I couldn't see it. And then the minute you started talking position, I said, and I see it.
Yeah, it's a cold game. Like, you literally will, they try to hate me, they hating on me. In that language, get away from that. Because once you start framing things slowly, negatively, or defensively, before you know it, you'll think the world's a desert, even though you're living in the middle of a forest. It's because the story you tell yourself now is defensive. It's not offensive. So you don't see the offensive. You got to play this offensive game to see the opportunities. A lot of opportunities are missed because of the defensive thinking. And so, like I was telling Shakina about she called me about some strategy, and she framed something. I said, okay, reframe that offensively. And she's like, oh, shit. You start seeing the play. It goes from choice A, B to, I got hella choices, huh? Yeah. I've done that to clients, where clients will give me a complete breakdown of what the strategy is going to be. And I was like, your strategy's rooted in defense. Can we flip it to offense and let's look at it again? And they'd be like, thank you. Just that simple. You'll be surprised how you can see so many different plays once you go from a defensive way of looking at things to an offensive way of looking at things. Huge difference. Next slide. Okay, next slide. All right, y'all ready? All right, let's do this.
The person who wants to be seen as great shows the world how to manipulate them.
Okay, Pimpin', let's say that one more time, because I want folks at home that's online, who constantly walks around and constantly trying to convince people that they're good enough. So let's replace the word great with good enough. Go for it.
The person who wants to be seen as good enough shows the world how to manipulate them.
Okay, let me finish. Let me add a little phrase to this that's not written down. Pimps up. Okay, you understand me? So what I'm trying to give y'all game on is this. The very desire to seek for the world to give you value, as opposed to giving yourself value, is you're easily to be manipulated. This is why I have no value in the popular voice on social media, because most people are online doing what? Looking for value. Mm-hmm. That's why they're so easy to fall victim to all kind of beliefs and trends. If you're running your company and you're too busy using your company to state your value. Sometimes we're running a company and we're using the company to say, look, I told you I'm valuable, right? You are designing yourself to be a sucker to the game. All right, keep going.
We're prone to being less concerned with actual greatness than with exuding the appearance of greatness.
Oakland, let me say this to my folks in Oakland, listen to me, the folks from Oakland here. We spend more time looking great than doing great. Looking great is the hottest thing that we're into right now. Like you go to a party right now and everybody will look great. I challenge you to try to figure out what's in their bank account, and you find out that you're in a land of poverty. But you'll see some of these suits. The first year I had Hope class, I don't call any of the people name. I had a party at my house. Everybody pulled up to my house in a name brand vehicle. The one person had a nice ass Lexus, but the window wouldn't roll down. Could you imagine that life of that person on a summer day? Hot, right? Everybody was broke in that motherfucking room, and everybody had a nice car. Looking important. A lot of times, look, do you realize, like, if you see me in the public, I'm not playing that game. It's a waste of my time. It has no value to me. I'm trying to become great, not look great. But when you don't feel like you're good enough, you will spend more money looking great than being great. You over there you walking by Louis Vuitton every day looking like a puppy who ain't ate in 2 weeks. Because you think if I wear this Louis Vuitton for the first time, I'm going to become great in other people's eye. But instead of you going, but if I read this book, I could do great things in my own life. I just want you to pay attention to what do you invest your time in? Are you investing your time in growing, developing, exercising, building? Or are you investing your time in looking like you're doing that shit? The car you drive, the clothes you wear, your swagger. Keep going.
When someone steps on how we see ourselves.
So when somebody steps on how you see yourself, go ahead.
Or how we want to be seen.
Or how you want to be seen. Come on.
The ego leaps into action, and we often react without reasoning.
So this is anti-feedback culture. When you're at a point where you don't feel like, this is why doing self-work is so necessary, self-mastery is so necessary, because you can't receive feedback for growth. And a lot of times the problem is you. The problem is you. I had a parent one time call me about their child, and I said, well, let's start with you first. And they ended the conversation. Because it can't be me, my child's wrong. Well, your child is a manifestation of you or the system you built. Can we talk about that first? No, but how can I get my child? All right, I'm out. Right? And so what I'm saying to you that if you cannot know, if you don't know how to humble yourself, this is a humbling conversation. You can't evolve. Keep next slide.
Someone close to you doesn't appreciate you the way you want to be appreciated.
Oh, come on.
Perhaps they don't see how insightful you are.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe they don't see how much you do for them.
Some of y'all spend a lot of time trying to position yourself to receive this. Keep going.
Desperate to satisfy the ego, either personally or professionally, you stop thinking.
You stop, wait a minute, you stop what?
Thinking.
You stop, okay, folks, so real quick. So when you're in this space, we're going back to the animal instinct. Remember, this is all about still an animal instinct. When you feel you're not being valued or being seen or being heard, or you feel like someone doesn't recognize you for your strengths or whatever, you don't think they think you're good enough, you stop what?
Thinking.
Okay, so now y'all kind of see another reason why I hate social justice? They don't see me. Shut your ass up. I do not want to hear this no more. That's why in the professional settings, I won't let you get away with that. I'll stop the conversation in a minute and stop. Wait. They don't see you. What are you doing? What's going on with you? What have you created and produced that you should be seen? Imagine if a homeless dude walked up to you, who's drunk and high every day, becomes sober one day, goes, I don't feel like you see me. You'd be like, wait, what? We don't. That's what human beings don't. Give me a reason to see you. We don't have that kind of attention span, right? But here's the thing. When you're in that mode, you're vulnerable. When you're in a world where you're depending on other people to value you, you're vulnerable. Let me say this again. You're vulnerable. You're not thinking anymore. You're dangerous to yourself. That's why self-empowerment, self-investment, self-value is necessary, not external value, external empowerment, external investment. That's not how it works. Keep going.
You stop thinking and do things you otherwise wouldn't.
You said you would do things you would never do before, right?
Like approach a competitor or flirt with someone at a party. One example I've seen too many times in the workplace is when you stop putting in 100% of what you are capable of because you feel underappreciated.
Let's go back to positioning right now. Go back to defensive thinking. You see that? You see the play? So now you're volunteering your time, and you don't feel like they appreciate your time. So now when you show, you give them a half-ass job, and then you wonder why position is not working. Because you're still waiting for somebody externally to validate you. It's got to be the way you move. This is how I get. If I come in the room, this is how I'm gonna get down. If y'all want to lower the standards, that's cool for y'all, but I can't have my name attached to low standards because this is how I move. See this? You see the difference between me? Where some people be like, well, I'm doing this because you see how we play the blame game, and the reason I lack a performance, like I talked about the child that sits in my house who says the reason my life is fucked up because of you. No, the relationship I like is fucked up because of you. You'll never get it. It's not because I'm trying to be mean, but you don't get it back until you realize, oh, I have all the power? It's within my control? Yes. Otherwise, it's always fleeting, meaning that if somebody comes along tomorrow and be like, you ain't shit, it's all gone again. Let's start all over again. You're back to zero. You can never rely upon the outside world to give you value. Value is something that you have to manifest for self. Keep going.
The ego grabs your unconscious, throws your long-term goals out of the window.
Whoa, stop. Throws your what out the window?
Long-term goals.
You know how you throw out your long-term goals out the window? You start making decisions that sabotage the long goal. So, for example, somebody gets mad, man, fuck you then. That goal's gone. Or, I just didn't show up. That goal's gone. Or, I acted inappropriate at a party and now I'm tagged as that dude is just inappropriate. Or, I got mad and disrupted something that was very... The guys who were at Google fired 50 employees, they decided to protest, and he's like... all you motherfuckers can get the fuck up out of here, right? It's like, because at the end of the day, a lot of those cats who are protesting, their value's on trial. Let me tell you why you protest, because if you really cared about Israel or Palestine, get your ass on a plane, let's go. But a lot of you guys are stuck in a virtue signaling loop. And in the end, you're doing it because this is what's going to create value amongst your peers who also believe in the same idea. And guess what happened? You sabotage your future. I want you guys to just pay attention to this game. And mind you, it's not a you shouldn't protest for things you value. I'm saying a lot of people who protest are playing the virtue signaling game, which is I'm getting paid in status. So you stop the ability, you lose the ability to think, and you start making decisions, or you brand yourself as a taker because you're just moving like that, and no one long term, people don't fuck with you like that. See, long term is a branding game. What is your reputation? But if you always compromise your reputation because you got offended, you wonder why you're not compounding value. Keep going.
And sets you sailing on a path toward destruction.
Next slide. I see that.
Our desire to feel right overpowers our desire to be right.
Okay, read that one more time because this is one of my favorites. Say it again.
Our desire to feel right overpowers our desire to be right.
Now say it with a Spanish accent. I'm just playing. Let me say something real quick. All right, stay with me. I'm going to show y'all something really simple. I don't need to explain this long. This is really simple. What is right?
Subjective.
Right, but where does right come from for you? No, it's defense trauma, but where does it come from? Like, where's the data come from?
Where does the what come from?
Data. When you're right.
My life, my experience.
Right, just your experiences, right?
Yeah.
Nothing new.
No.
That's nothing outside your thinking, right?
No.
So when you write, do you realize the only thing you're trying to do is keep this shit the same? Repeat this again. If you're fighting to be right, all you're trying to do is keep shit the same, but then you turn around and say, I want to grow. No, the fuck you don't. You want to be right, which is I want to keep shit the same. Ain't that shit cold? A person who desires to be right is sacrificing the conversation just to be right because the addiction of feeling right is so cold that they don't realize you're arguing for the same old shit, hoping for a different outcome. Who said that shit before?
That's insanity.
That's insanity, right? Yeah. I gotta be right. Oh, sometimes I hate when I'm not right. You mean you hate when shit don't change? When shit changes? You hate when innovation happens? Imagine you have employees and you got to always be right. Guess what you're destroying your company? Innovation. Being wrong is discovering new. Being wrong is innovation. Being wrong is growth. Being wrong is how you practice to become better. But you're a right ass, simple ass, ain't change ass. You've been 13 for 30 years. You're 43 and you're 13. Because you got to be right. That's a cold motherfucking game. I see some people. I saw the comedian came out and said he was gay. He was on Breakfast Club. What's a brown skin guy? He has a show. Yeah, he has a show on HBO. Forgot the guy's name. He was arguing on the Breakfast Show, and I just, I happened to listen and I'm tuning in. And his arguments, he wasn't developing a good argument. He was focusing on being right. He's in the Umar effect, overpowering, driving the issue, really not exploring the conversation, not really having a dialogue, just really trying to be right. This is one of the things I can't stand about Umar. That's why I can't trust your knowledge. Because you got outdated knowledge because you won't update yourself with any. Do you realize that, okay, so when I was born, black people over here, white people over here. Got used to that. I'm watching kids grow up today and they're starting to get closer and closer and we don't know what the fuck. When we're dead, 40 years after we're dead, we don't know what the fuck we're going to be looking at. We won't be able to see it. Because human beings, we don't get to control that destiny. So you saying, well, this is the way it's supposed to be because you think you're right, is trying to keep the past going when life should tell you that shit's changing every fucking day. So guess who's outdated, the OG, trying to do business? Your young ass, 30 years of age, moving like an old ass person. This is the way it's supposed to be. Fuck you mean it's supposed to be? Move with curiosity. Don't try to be right. Keep going.
The ego default urges us to feel right at the expense of being right.
So you want to feel right to make yourself actually wrong. And so you think, okay, as long as you feel right by being right. Matter of fact, let me tell you how bad it is sometimes. A lot of times when I'm talking to a civilian, I call anybody who's an entrepreneur a civilian. That's not a seasoned entrepreneur. And I'm arguing with them. I realize I have to tell you you're right in something for you to even hear me. Is that shit cold? You were right when you said that, but this other part was wrong. And you'd be like, yeah, I can hear you. But if I say it was just wrong, you'd be like, well, what about when you see what happened? You need to feel right. Mm-hmm. If you hear somebody go, but what about when what the fuck are we doing right now? We having an ego battle? This is trash. If we're going to move forward in a relationship, we both got to be wrong. If we're always right, something's wrong. Either your partner is dumb as shit and they just learned how to speak for the first time, or you both got ego problems. Keep going.
Few things feel better than being right, so much so that we will unconsciously rearrange the world into arbitrary hierarchies to maintain our beliefs and feel better about ourselves.
Story. Read that one more time and think about the story. Remember I said, if you bring in friction in your life, if you had a point in your life where you're feeling friction, right? Because you need to adjust your story, right? And once you adjust your story, the friction can just disappear. I'm talking about as you change the story, damn, I feel no stress no more. What the fuck? Where'd my stress go? Right? Often, most of your stress is because you got the wrong story. Now, read that same paragraph one more time and watch how your brain manifests the value around your story.
Few things feel better than being right, so much so that we will unconsciously rearrange the world.
Change the story.
Into arbitrary hierarchies.
To whatever makes sense for us.
To maintain our beliefs and feel better about ourselves.
To maintain what? Not changing. Just so you can feel better about yourself. So you feel real good. There's motherfuckers I know right now who are master debaters. Pull the curtain. And you be like, God damn, you master broke too? Like, I promise you this shit's cold. This shit is so cold. When Mashama was in the early stages, Mashama used to be a master debater, right? When he woke up from this shit, he was like, oh my God. He dumped this shit so fast it made his nose bleed. But at one point, he prided himself on, if you debate me about anything I believe in, I'd never be. But he didn't realize, just as I realized, 'cause I told you what was hurting Fight to Media, our egos was killing us. We were trying to protect our stories as opposed to adapt our stories. Next. Okay, so let me set this up real quick. Shane is talking about he was young. And this guy came in, he was an asshole. He was a rich dude with a car. Rich grill, rich dude, swagger, nice car. This is in the book. And he gets out the car, and he's always been an ass. Like, he comes to the store, just those kind of dudes just like, I got money and I can just talk to anybody the way I want to. So he's coming in, he's disrespected people, and they just kind of got used to it over and over and over. So finally he gets his Shane line. He's like, what's this line so fucking long? And Shane turns to him and says, dude, fuck you. And he gets fired, but Shane feels good about it. Like, at least I told that motherfucker how I feel, because he's always disrespecting people. At least I told him, fuck you. Now, read it.
I remember walking home that night thinking that while I might not have a job, at least I wasn't like him.
So now you go, at least I wasn't an asshole like him. Keep going.
And at that moment, I rearranged the world in such a way that I, the newly unemployed high school student without a car or a lavish wristwatch, came out on top. I had unconsciously organized the world in a way where I could be above him and feel better about myself. Both of us reverted to the ego default that day.
So even though that dude was egotistical and clowning him, he got fired because he felt like, at least I told him off and I feel good about what I did. But it's because he rearranged the story. You're broke, dude. You lost. You fucking lost. He couldn't see reality no more because it made him feel better, because at least he cussed this cat out. Black people, you know what I'm talking about, right? At least I told that customer. At least I cussed out that person. At least I cussed that vendor. At least I told my employee off. And as you feel good about that, you don't realize I just sent the person home that's supposed to make me hella money. What am I doing? I want y'all to pay attention to this. That's defensive thinking in a cold-blooded nutshell. How you will feel good because you told somebody out, you put somebody in check. Did you put them in check? Yeah, of course I put them in check. Our culture talks like that. That's an egotistical cultural tone, when at the end of the day it's like, nah, I just let them say what they had to say, and I made sure they paid for it. I told them thank you for coming in, and I'm sorry they felt that way, and then how can we show up to you? No, you didn't say that shit. But the companies who are winning, they do. Organizations who run, because when you're serving other people, you never know what that person is going through when they walk through that door. At some point, as you try to be right, you can even put your life online. Just to be right. As opposed to, have you ever been driven? Have you ever drove a car and almost got in a car accident because you feel like you have the right of way and you continue to demand it, and other cars going, and so you just stop and going, just let them have it. You literally will crash your fucking car. It's illogical just to be right.
Oh my God.
Listen to what I'm saying here. Well, I was in the right of way. It doesn't matter if you're in the right of way. Well, I wasn't doing anything. I didn't do anything to deserve it. It doesn't matter. You saw it unfolding, but you continue to drive right into the car because they shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have. You have to be right. Is this shit cold? How you being right will make you in business. You're trying to make all these strategical decisions, and you don't realize how many times you made dumb decisions because you just had to be right. You didn't make the call that was uncomfortable, unconventional, eccentric. You made a decision that made you feel right. Do you realize a lot of business decisions don't make you feel right? Yeah, guys, have you guys ever invested a lot of money? Whatever's relevant, a lot of money to you? Once you put that money in that investment system, did it feel right? Have you ever had to make an investment as far as purchasing new equipment for your company, and even though it made you money on the back end, go back to the day you purchased the equipment, did it feel right? But that right person, guess what they do? They go buy the cheaper Walmart version and end up hurting the goddamn customer and spending money. Or don't pick up business because you branded yourself as a weak company because you don't want to spend that money because it just doesn't feel right. Right? Feeling right is a disease, and you got to know when you get that feeling. Like you know when you feel it. You got to know that it's anti-strategy what you're feeling. Next slide.
Most people go through life assuming they are right.
Okay. most of y'all think that y'all are God's agent on earth and God is giving you all the game, and it's just a matter of time when you put it together, it's going to work. And if Nana comes up here and challenges me, who is he? Because I got the game from God. Keep going.
And that people who don't see things their way are wrong.
This is why, once again, I hate this whole social media cancel culture. A lot of times there's been things that people have been canceled for. If you had dove deeper into it, it would make sense. But if you just listen to the surface conversation, if it's your right, you're wrong, whatever that is. You got to move away from that whole culture of this person's right, this person's wrong, this person's smart, this person's stupid. That is a wasted way of thinking. That is not. If you want to learn how to be strategical and build some shit, stop embracing that form of dialogue. It's a waste of your time. This is what, go back to the book. Stop gossiping. Gossiping is what? It's a right and wrong ritual. That's all it is. You know what Lisa did, then she did this. And yeah, girl, I don't know. I thought she was stupid. I mean, I don't know everything, but I'm just saying, and you know me, I'm not judgmental, but shit she did last week just didn't seem right to me. See what I just did? It happens, that's what gossip is. This is why the 15 stages of consciousness, whatever, what's the book called?
15 laws of consciousness.
15 commitments.
Yeah, 15 commitments of leadership, conscious leadership. It says do not gossip for a reason. Because in gossiping, all you're doing is practicing all day long right versus wrong. That's why I told Josh, I said, Josh, you gossip too much. I know you thought, man, now leave me the fuck alone. That's cool. What do you do? And when you gossip too much, Chris, what happens? In the end, you're going to value being right so much, you'll be in situations and you will throw strategy out the window so you can be right. And you think you're strategic because you feel good. You think because you have a chain of good feelings, you're moving in a good direction, to only watch your bank account and not go with your feelings. You feel so good to be so broke. How many zeros can you earn? Do you want to get in line and earn zeros? Go, keep going. Go ahead.
We mistake how we want the world to be with how it actually is.
Okay, so the next time you feel like the world is getting crazy, just walk away from that conversation. What the fuck does that mean? The world should always be crazy to everybody. There's no such thing. First of all, when you put the world in context, this is the best time in human history. Best time ever.
True.
Ever. Go back and look at human history, you'd be like, if somebody said, back like this, the earthly motherfuckers be like, oh yeah, we need to go back to the way it was. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I'm not hearing this. What are you saying? Right? What are you talking about? There's not too many errors I want to go back to. Right? It's just not too many. I'm sorry. Right? I want to move forward with all these opportunities and options. I'm not going back. Y'all remember the tennis shoes of the 50s? I don't want to wear them. Don't care. If you just none of that shit. If you go to like a museum where they collect the shoes from like a war, none of those shoes feel comfortable. Right? I don't want to wear those. No, nothing. Those people were skinny for a reason. Right? Food was scarce. Right? So at the end of the day, it's like, once y'all look at the whole game, it's like the romanticism of the past. Somebody said, do you know the golden era only lives in our brain? Back in the days, but when the days was happening, did you know it was back in the days? No, you didn't. And today is back in the day tomorrow. Right? So the reality is that get away from that dumbass dialogue about this is the way the world should be. Learn to accept it for what it is, and then you'll see the opportunities. But as long as you continue to create friction with the way the world should be, the ancestors told me, somebody, listen to this is game. So many of us spend more time trying to please our ancestors and screw over our kids. It says again, you spend most of your time trying to please the dead ancestors and not show up for your future kids. Just think about that shit, because you're so stuck in the way the world should be, you can't just sit in where the world is. That's some cold shit. Once you learn to move with the world, you realize you'll start seeing all kind of opportunities unfolding right in front of you. But as long as you move in this world going, well, it should have been like this, and it should have been like this, and it should have been like this, opportunities are passing you. You know when you see opportunities? In hindsight, when somebody else took advantage of them? Because you're too busy watching the world. When the world changes, like, oh, no, this is stupid. I don't want to see none of this shit. Come on, I need to see somebody look like Malcolm X. And until I see Malcolm X, we ain't got no leaders out here. Are you fucking sick? Black folks ain't doing nothing out here. When I grew up, we always been broke. It's always going to be broke. And you will always be broke. You're going to have to get off this way. This is the way the world should be. Do you realize this is the longest peace, I think one of the longest stretches of peace in a long time? No, World War I and World War II, we lost, I think it was 130 million people. Right now, between Israel and
Russia, Ukraine, I think we had 500 some odd thousand people total, and the population at the time when we lost the 130 million, the population was I think 2 billion. Now we had 8 billion people. We are in the best time ever. There's people flying to go see family in Israel while they're at war. That's unheard of if you go back to previous wars. You didn't even have no fucking plane because to go somewhere, the amount of time it would cost you to go from here to England was very expensive. That damn boat ride was real. Right? So I think you guys are missing the point. Like the way the world, the politics are so fucked up. Stop. This is why you will never see opportunities. I'm not arguing things cannot get better because that's what human beings, that's what we do. That's what entrepreneurs are. We solve other people's problems and make billions, right? I'm saying, but you won't see those opportunities if you constantly have this framework of the way the world should work, and when it doesn't work that way, guess who loses? Okay, let's say Shakina right now says the world should be this way, right? Who else is she affecting besides herself? Nobody else in this room. She's just destroying herself. So everybody in this room who wants to negotiate that the world sucks, you know you're just beating yourself up, right? You're not changing the world by that. If you go out to the world like, this is what y'all need to do, you'll get your little cult follow you for a minute, but then y'all die off. And you be alone and broke again. This is real shit. I'm old enough to say, hey, I watched the patterns, this shit's stupid, y'all. Cut it out. See the world for what it is. See the opportunities. Stop. They keep flashing Black Wall Street in front of your mind, and they fuck up your brain because you're trying to fix Black Wall Street and not seeing the future Wall Street opportunities. Once again, you are living for your ancestors and ignoring your children. Keep going.
The subject doesn't matter. We're right about politics, other people, our memories, you name it. We mistake how we want the world to work for how it does work.
There's nowhere in the world Republicans or Democrats are mostly right. They're both right and wrong all the time. For you to take a side, that's some shit in your head. Got you fucked up. Black people, cut it out. I'm a Democrat. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm a Republican. What the fuck are you talking about? You're a black person. Your community broke as fuck. You got work to do. Go back home. Our schools, have you seen the schools in Oakland? How the fuck you anything besides a school developer? An advocate for black growth. An advocate for a better community, stronger community, for better relationships in the family household. But you join all these goddamn movements instead of working on your own shit. You're over there marching for all kind of programs and ideas. You mad at people and shit. And you ain't volunteer 1 hour to position yourself to help the local school. I want y'all to peep game how crazy this shit is because we're so busy being right. We're making decisions in our own fucking community that don't make any sense. If you don't vote, die. It's so important that you vote. I marched all week to make sure we vote. Did you march all week to make sure that black males are graduating, black females are graduating from your local high school? No? Okay, I guess that's what the fuck we doing now, huh? At least you felt right, though. With your broke asses. Next slide. I think that's the last one.
Of course, we can't be right about everything all the time.
It's impossible. Stupid. Except Josh sometimes he can be right about two things. Go ahead.
Everyone makes mistakes or misremembers something.
So this is why, okay, let's say you mess up a relationship or your child turns out to be the trash behavior. It is a waste of time for you to sit in the house and go, what did I do wrong? I don't know. Where you want to start? Because at the end of the day, we all do wrong shit all the time. That's what we do as human beings. We try to do a little less to get shit done. But we're imperfect animals trying to build perfect shit. We're imperfect animals trying to build perfect shit that can't exist. Everything we build will have a slight level of imperfection. And when shit gets too perfect, when AI makes something too perfect, we don't even like it. When Photoshop was at its height and people was like making Jasadi look skinnier than he is right now, Look at him eat. He gonna get that weight back. But anyway, so let's say like just like he's eating salted candy. Anyway, so the point is this. And so is that butter on your candy, bro? Anyway, point is this. And so let's say Photoshop made him look super, super thin. Even he would hate it. People would hate it. He could like that Kim Kardashian, her sister's effect. How her sister's Khloe Kardashian, how she become a different human being on with Photoshop, right? The market rejected that across the board. We don't like perfection like that. We like a little bit of imperfection. When you buy vintage cars, they want a little bit of imperfection in it. If it's too perfect, it's like, I don't know if I really want this one. Mm-hmm. We love a slight degree of imperfection. It gives it character, personality. It makes it feel like other human beings have touched it. It gives us different value senses to it. So there ain't nobody playing this perfect game. But you don't realize that you can haunt yourself. You lose your job. What could I have done perfectly? Move on. Go to the next one. Try to improve. Like don't get me wrong. You want to reflect and go, hey, how can I improve? What could I have done different? But don't haunt yourself. It's the difference. I know some people, like, I hear friends say, okay, well, let's sit down and see why you got fired. Well, did you do this? Did you do that? And they come with like a list of 20 things that you did wrong. They ain't going to help you. Because now you're going to go to your next job trying to be perfect, and you're going to fuck up even more. There's something you did wrong, and you need to reflect. You always used to say, when something happened to me, radical responsibility, what can I learn from this? But don't let the disease of wanting to be right haunt you. Because you'll try to be right to the point that you are ineffective. Okay. I first noticed this with a small segment, because first of all, there's no such thing as the Asian community. They're so fucking large. The Asian community is so fucking large. But there's a certain small section of Asian community in the Bay Area, they just want to be right. They drove like they want to be right. They talk like they want to be right. They move like they want to be right, right? If you ever watch those people, they don't get promoted very well. People don't value them the same, right? Then you start seeing these .com kids and these new generation. They don't just want to be right. Oh, sorry, did I breathe too hard in front of you? Oh, sorry. Oh my God. Oh. They probably never pass gas. They just guts all toe up. they just got to be right at all goddamn time, no matter what the hell it is, right? That level of being right is ineffective. It's almost damaged. It's almost fragile. It is. You got to learn how to say, I feel like I'm right, but let me hear you. Where can I be wrong? Matter of fact, spend more time trying to figure out where you're wrong, and you'll realize, fuck, this shit's fun. Because then finish this sentence because I want to close this out. Finish this out real quick.
But we still want to feel right all the time. And ideally, you get other people to reinforce that feeling. Hence, we channel inordinate amounts of energy to proving to others or ourselves that we're right. When this happens, we're less concerned with outcomes and more concerned with protecting our egos.
You're less concerned with outcome. Some of y'all left people to protect your ego. Some of you guys have left jobs. Some of you destroyed projects. Some of you guys just didn't show up the next day because you had to protect your ego. Let me say this real quick. Every natural, instinctual impulse you have has a purpose. You want to feel right? It has a purpose, right? If you tied your life to like, this is what I want to contribute to society, I want to live my life to build this purpose, that's a form of it kind of keeps you connected to the consistency of, I have this story I told myself about how I want to show up in society, and I live my life to show up that way. So like my story is, I'm pro-black. So I live my life to invest in other black folks. Bow. It's right there, right? You'll never see me with a white woman on my arm. Because in the end, that's against my story. Okay? Bow. It's right there. I shifted my right to that story. That I will commit myself to that story. But on that journey, I'm going to be wrong a lot. And in the end result, I can sit back and go, did I live my life the way I wanted to live my life? I was right. I still stimulate that right spot. It's when that right gets out of control, right? Or let's say tomorrow I realize black folks didn't give a shit about being black no more. Can I change that story? Yes, I can, right? You have to, and this is, trust me, when you guys say, I don't see business opportunities, I can't see the next move, or I can't navigate my company, this is the form of thought you got to sit, this is the space you got to sit in, right? Which is every instinct you have, right versus wrong, survivor mode, press secretary, defensive thinking, it's in your system for a reason. It's just being used out of context at the wrong time. There's a time you need to be defensive. If somebody hits my door at nighttime, I'm not going to my door like, I'm going to be offensive. Excuse me, sir, what do you want at my door? It's going to be defensively sounding, clack, clack. I'm giving you 2 motherfucking seconds to get away because it's the wrong time to be the mailman. At that point, hey, man, I told you 2 seconds, baby. And you know I can't count, so I might fuck around and hit you shoot off at 1. I got a loose finger, right? And so what I'm saying to you is that there's a time and place for everything. Wisdom is knowing when. This is the difference. You can't absorb this knowledge without, this goes back to what Course said. He read a book and thought, I'm going to apply this strategy and it's just going to work. What he's missing is wisdom. When does it work and when doesn't work? What's the timing? What does it apply to? How do you prime the situation? When do you reframe certain things? What's the counter move for an advanced move? Right? This right thing, it has its place. You may, for example, if I'm negotiating and I'm purposely coming for somebody, or I'm coming from some resources, I know how to play the right game for a second. But even in the right, but if I doubt myself because I'm stuck between, but you still should be curious and you still should see where they're coming from. You still should hear this. If I'm coming for you and I'm battling, I might not give a shit. But then also when I walk away from the battle, I still heard you. Because I don't really believe I'm right like that. I knew I had to be right to win this battle, but I also realized you may have an angle and I need to know what that angle is. But when I'm in a battle, I may need to turn that angle down because if I keep going back between the two, I fucking start helping you negotiate against me. I've done that before where I get so liberal and I'm negotiating with somebody for some money where I know I'm going to win this battle. But in the end, by the time I'm like, yeah, you do got kids and you do, you have been going through some stuff and I know you probably came from the same high school I've been through. And before you know, I gave you $10,000 on my own fucking rationalization. Man. So in the end, when I'm battling you, oh, no, baby, I'm coming to get this 10 G's. Now when it's over and I put the money in the account and say, so no, man, tell me about your kids. I ain't give you the money back though. But I understand about the kids. so it has its place. I don't want you guys to go out here and be right, wrong, divorce right, and become Puritans in these ideas. Then that also weakens your strategical thinking. You just got to know how to use it and when. And you'll find that most of the times when you're using it wrong. So 90% of the time, I'm curious. Or 95% of the time, I'm just curious. Like I will say, here's my argument. I have confidence because you have to have confidence because nobody listens to you without confidence. If I say, I think, but, you don't have to listen to me, but, guys, I'm teaching this class, but, if you want to go to somebody else, I guess, I told this book, but if you don't want to read the book, I understand. Some of the words I agree with, I kind of don't agree, but I'm not sure where I stand. I'd be like, woo, I'm out. You have to have confidence to teach. You have to be confidence to build. You have to get confidence to lead, right? That's an act of right. Am I lying? But even in those spaces, you got to be humble enough to know you may not know. Because that's how you improve your leadership. That's how you improve your teaching. That's how you improve everything you're doing for other people, is that you're always going home at the end of the night going, was that the best choice I could have made? Could I have done anything better? What are the options? And when your friends that you know that you invested, if you're a friend in my life, you deserve to be heard. If you're an employee of my team, you deserve to be heard. If I stop to say hi to you and I want to hear you, I'm going to hear you. Even if something shit, if you can tell me you believe aliens are coming to the earth, I'm going to be like, huh?
They are.
If I got time, why you believe that? Like, where's that coming from? And may discover, even though you are absolutely crazy as shit, you just told me that the reason that this problem's been happening over here, because you actually run amongst a crew of people who really believe that, and I never saw it before because I never really saw y'all before. So a lot of times, listen doesn't mean that, okay, the world, right, are not the only people who are successful. A lot of wrong shit is successful. A lot of movements are happening all through society. That's going to impact. Remember interconnectivity that we talked about earlier because of systems, right? Well, a lot of times when you just listen to people, you'll see an interconnection that you didn't even know existed. But when you write, you're blocking off all those interconnections, all those other causations, all those other variables. And in the end, the reason you're so simple as hell in everything you do is because you write all the time. That shit cold, ain't it? That shit cold. So it's not simple as, okay, I'm gonna stop just being right. No, when you need to flex. But no, when you flex, it's not absolute. And if you want something, because like say if I'm negotiating something, I go into Kaiser and I need to get some medicine for my daughter. Oh, I'm not hearing the first no. You said no? Oh, that's cool. Hey, who's that person behind you? Look like you're hungry. You want a sandwich? Let me see that pill again. Like, I'm gonna keep going till like you're gonna break. You might say, well, no, my daughter was sick, bro. I had a different incentive. But at the end of the day, I understand why he didn't give it out to everybody because he has a different incentive. But if I think I'm right, I won't even see his incentive. Yeah, they just be hating on. That's why I don't want to help black people out. No, they have a different incentive. And so even all the things I believe that black folks deserve from stopping systemic racism, better education, better economic opportunities, equity, not equality, equity, better health care, better food. I need to understand why it's not working. Not saying everybody hates on me. And understand how good people on the other side making different decisions. That being said, as they say to these Oakland, fuck you, see you later.